parlay selection builders, daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and be sure to use my code BIGJOE100. That's BIGJOE100 to win $100 when you bet $1 on the Cubs or the Brewers and either team hits a home run. Only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. This is a new customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Indiana only, must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Are you one of the millions of homeowners who haven't refinanced yet? If so, I'm here to tell you it's not too late. Hi, I'm Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial. Although the lowest rates may be in our rearview mirror, as the economy recovers from the biggest economic shock of our lifetime, rates still remain near historic lows. In fact, with the dramatic increase in home values, this may be the perfect time to put that new home equity to work. Take advantage of our cash-out refi program and pay off high-rate credit cards, car loans, or other high-interest rate debt. Or finally make those home improvements you put on hold for so long. Best of all, we can do this with no closing costs. That's right, whether it's a conventional, FHA, or VA loan, we'll pay for your title, settlement, lender, and recording fees. So call Westland at 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. 888-455-3669.
NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
Hey, it's JMV. Listen Thursday 3 until 6. I'll be at IMS with Future Star Racing. They help race car drivers advance to the next level by supporting talent that lacks resources. Courtesy of Wings and Wheels Foundation.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX Indianapolis.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Listen on air, online at 1075thefan.com, and on our free app at Google Play and on the App Store.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
And again, it's picked off. It's Darius Leonard. A pick six for the Maniac. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. Yes, sir.
Sabonis down the lane with authority.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, let's get to a lot of NFL chatter, a lot of Colts conversation today. I would have to say, if we're talking, or if you want to describe this as a quarterback competition between Eason and Ellinger, it may be one of the worst ever. It might be one of the worst ever. Now, I know that there's one, as Kyle just had mentioned, going on down in Houston that may even be worse, but I'm assuming at least dude is taking some snaps down there, right? With Tyrod Taylor. So, yeah, this might be the worst ever. Here's the reality of it. I mean, you can read or watch or listen to whatever else you want. The reality of it is that they're just hoping that Wentz, without a boot out there today, mind you, so was Quentin Nelson. But Wentz without a boot is going to be back sooner rather than later, as we've talked about the entire time. I mean, even if we do bring up both Seattle and the Rams in the first 2 weeks of the season, and they're both NFC West teams, and, you know, whatever. You know, it's not AFC. It's certainly week 3 you get Tennessee, but not in week 3. I still view it as important, and here's one of the reasons why. They're both home games. And I'm sorry, you don't want to start out 0-2 in the season in general, but you sure as hell don't want to start out the season 0-2 at home. So I will go and be reasonable as usual regarding this, as I have gone the entirety of the time. This is all dependent upon just how quickly Carson Wentz gets back. I mean, everything else right now, it's window dressing. And I hope these guys play well. It would be great if one of them would be an answer to a backup question or, hell, any question. It'd be great. I mean, when's the last time you really heard a quarterback question being asked around here other than talking about Phillip Rivers where it just wasn't dreadful? So, yeah, it would be great. I mean, this whole Carolina matchup going into, the practices and then the game coming up on Sunday, it's going to give you a look. It is going to be interesting because you're curious how they are doing, and you really don't know. I mean, you go by virtue of if you go out there, you watch, or you go by virtue of what everybody is describing to you. But who's Eason playing against compared to Ellinger? And I know they mixed him up today. I'm assuming to give a shot of energy, if you will, to Eason with the way that he has played so far. But as an end result, I'll tell you, if both of these guys are dreadful, I mean, just not ready for it, regardless of the NFC West representation in the first 2 weeks. I mean, regardless of that alone, if these guys are dreadful and Wentz is not going to be good to go, I mean, you'd love to see at least by the week 3, right? Maybe you take your chances in week number 1. Cross your fingers as a fan a little bit and hope the defense can play well, hope that they can run, hope that they can do some other things, without leaning heavily on the quarterback position. Short term, I still think one of these guys, certainly Eason, gets a chance. If it's longer than that, then to me, there's no way in the world. You'd do the rest of the team a disservice if you know that these guys aren't even close to ready and you roll them out there. I mean, it's bad enough if you think about doing that in week 1 and week 2, but it is, I mean, you risk just screwing the season. You imagine screwing the season before you're out of September? And this is not doom and gloom. I mean, this is just the way that it is. I mean, I'm assuming that the fact that Wentz was out there today without a boot is a good thing, and you hope that that is a good thing. To a degree, as I've mentioned, too, I mean, a lot of this is what has to happen. A lot of this as to what has to happen is also going to be how we view Wentz, and that's what makes this interesting. Like everybody that's all over Eason right now, or everybody that's all over Ellinger right now, or everybody that thinks, this is a quarterback battle, quote, unquote, in camp right now, we would really be judging Wentz in a similar fashion because of what Wentz went through a year ago. But as I mentioned, to me, it will be Eason if Wentz is on the short term to return unless he is just awful. And Ellinger is just awful. But the Colts are in no hurry to make any snap judgments right now. We'll see what happens against Carolina, against a different team, see what happens in that preseason game coming up on Sunday. I know everybody's kind of getting the nose out of joint today with everything, but no, I wouldn't. I mean, it's not like anything has really changed. I mean, the other guy has played decently, so you give the other guy a chance. I mean, you kind of want to see everything, don't you? You kind of want to see everything. And then what we will also see in the process is just how well-rounded the rest of this team is going to be. How much of that you can count on. How much of that turns out to be overhyped or accurate. Hopefully for Colts fans, accurate. The rest of this team and the depth, not being about one guy. I mean, that has been preached around here for a while, and hopefully that is the case, and hopefully that is not overhyped. Because that's certainly, and even with Wentz, let's just say, for example, Miyagi is doing this and working on Wentz's foot, and the dude is back in week number 1. I'm just working this hypothetically. Let's just say that happens. It's the same thing for Wentz. I mean, I know we've seen him before. I know that he had a lot of a season back in 2017 where he was playing, in MVP caliber before an injury. But a lot of the judgments that we are making on these quarterbacks right now, in Eason and Ellinger, are going to be the same judgments we make on Wentz, just at a higher level, because we've said all the same thing. I mean, think about it for a moment. These guys that are battling right now in camp and practice, we talk about how the rest of the team has to step up and lift them up, and we've talked about that, but it's the same thing with Wentz. I mean, look what Wentz went through a year ago, and to hopefully make that change to what Frank Reich believes that he can be, we were also looking for that level of help from others, from the offensive line and the support that he didn't have a year ago. Skill position players and the support, reportedly, he didn't have a year ago. Now, the support that allegedly he didn't have a year ago. I mean, all that, you want this to be as perfect as possible with other aspects of this team, and this just doesn't hold true if we're talking about Eason and Ellinger here. This also, this was going to be the case with Carson Wentz, and we'd gone over this over and over again. I mean, he has to be the answer. He has to be the answer. If he is not the answer, either, once he does return, he's just simply broken, or if he's not the answer, there are other issues going on this team. I don't even know that's anything anybody wants to talk about right there. Whether or not it's injury, lack of production, lack of level of play. I mean, all that. But we are talking about everybody's just kind of losing it a little bit about as soon as somebody describes it as a quarterback battle. I mean, I don't know if I'd look at it that way. I mean, these guys are just practicing to try to play their best. But when it all comes down to it, I don't know if anybody out there is really thrilled about wanting to see either one of these dudes get an opportunity in a regular season game. And that's been my feeling all along. But I also have told you, just hold on, and this is going to take care of itself. Hey, we'll be able to realize, right? And I asked this of the players. How can they tell? And the answer is yes. The level of play that your quarterback is giving and whether or not he deserves to be out there, how you're going into week 1 of the season or week 2 of the season. And, if when you go out there that he's not ready, how and what fashion might that affect other guys? Because you go, hey, hold on. We've watched this the entire time, and the guy's just not ready. But then you shove him out there anyway. I mean, that, to me, is something that you really don't want to do. But, again, I think unless the play is just awful, and there is a longer-term rehab, if you will, from Wentz, that is the only way you're going to see this team go out there and be inspired by somebody on the open market. I don't think it's going to be the trade market because that they value assets. I mean, at some point in time, you also have to value it. I'm sorry. I don't look at the start of the season like other people do. And I know we're not talking about AFC foes, but you don't want to start out 0-2 with 2 home games. I mean, let me see a show of hands. Who thinks that's okay? Anybody? And then what? Going to Tennessee in week 3? Anybody have a show of hands? Anybody think that's cool? You don't want to know why? Because it's not. It doesn't work. I mean, then you really got to take this thing to a different level. Hopefully so. But, giving you the real look at what is going on right here, while at the same time telling you not to lose it over this. I will say this, it does make it more interesting. I mean, if you knew that your quarterback was healthy for week number 1, it wouldn't be as interesting. It certainly would be better for you as a fan. But let's face it right now, when you kind of look at one of these guys, at some point in week one maybe be given the keys to drive this offense, it puts a priority on your viewing pleasure coming up on Sunday, does it not? I'm not suggesting it's a great scenario, but it makes it interesting nonetheless. I know that you get worn out on it, and I can't disagree with you. You know, the whole next man up or other people have to step up and that stuff you hear all the time. You know, that's painted on locker room walls and such. All that stuff that you hear, I know you get tired of it, but man, there is a tremendous example of that. And you can decide whether or not it's cliched. It probably is. But there's a tremendous example of that exact thing, and it's here right now. I mean, no doubt. Right now. Because it's not just the two quarterbacks. You know, it's not just hoping that things fall into place with an injured player. I mean, it's other positions. And that's something I think we skip, right? I mean, it's easy to throw out that cliche whenever you want, but it does hold true right now without question. I mean, you got to have it. And believe me, you were going to have it even if Wentz was in there. Because that's one of the reasons why he's here. That's one of the reasons why he's supposed to feel comfortable here. You know, reclaim his career after things crapped out in Philadelphia. You want to try to give him the most optimum of situations. And that's with all these depth built behind them, interior build, offense and defense, giving him something that people in Philly a year ago say he just didn't have, which helped lead to the spiral. That's the hope. That's the hope. So if you guys want to discuss that, we can at 239-1070. Email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. On Twitter at jmv1070. We are inside the lounge via YouTube Live. Rakestraw is going to be your play-by-play man coming up on Sunday. He and Rick Venturi are going to do TV here locally for that game. Greg's going to join us. That is on locally here, right? That game on Sunday. Greg's going to join us at 3:30. He also has the post-game show duties. I don't think, will he do the post-game show on radio now? Yeah, I am strictly a pre-gamer. I don't want to do a post-gamer. I don't think I told him I would, did I? I can't remember now. I did a pre-game, post-game years ago after a Pittsburgh Colts preseason game, and it was awful. And it was also after midnight. So I can't remember. I don't think I did.
Not that I remember, but
I dig the pre, but I don't want to do any post.
At least the post this time won't be that late.
Well, the good thing about the post when it comes to the preseason is, and I'm hoping that's the same way because that means they're selling, is all you basically do is say, hey, we're back. Barry Krause is with me, and you read about 4 ads, and then you go back to break. That's about it. That's the good part about it. But, yeah, pregame show I am down with and cannot wait to do. Meantime, post-game, not so much. Greg's going to join us bottom of the hour. Austin Gale of Pro Football Focus, the director of content. That's what my nickname is here, the director of content. Because you know where to go to get it for 3 hours. So Austin Gale has the same title as I have nickname here. That's awesome. Director of content. Austin Gale of PFF in the 4 o'clock hour. Holder's going to be here coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And I'll tell you what you can win coming up a little bit later on in the show as well. Actually, before we hit a break, I will tell you that. We got other stuff to hit, too, other NFL news. You had the Pacers yesterday. Chris Duarte, as we talked about during the show, looked pretty damn good. I don't know what that means. It's like right now. I mean, what does that really mean? I mean, what does it really mean looking good against, right now the way this offensive line looks for the defense in these practices? And hopefully it's better than looking bad. I've always said that. mean, you can say what you want about the competition and these Colts practices. Say what you want about, the summer league for the Pacers, but it's better than looking bad. If you look bad, then you've got serious problems. If you look good, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. And that's a good thing. Hopefully, that's a good thing. So we can hit that if you guys like as well. Some baseball from last night. So the Reds had to go up after a sweep of the Pirates and go up and play one of those those makeup games in Cleveland, and got housed last night. That made me sad. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Cubs and the Brewers. They play 2, I believe, today, right? Wrigley Field in Chicago. Reds, meantime, are heading down to Atlanta. So you get no rest. You had to play on what was going to be your off day, Monday. You get housed. Luis Castillo had looked really good in his last 7 outings, and then just got blasted last night. So all that kind of sucks. At least with me as a Reds fan, all that kind of sucks. So we shall hit that as well. And I guess tonight, is this going to be, and I don't know the numbers, I don't know how many of you still pay attention, is this going to be the rehab of Hard Knocks? You know what I mean? The rehab of, hey, it's back and it's interesting. Because it's Hard Knocks and the Dallas Cowboys tonight, right? So does that make it interesting? It hasn't been interesting to me. Is that fair?
I'll probably tune in.
When's the last time it was interesting? HBO's Hard Knocks.
The Browns year was pretty good. Baker Mayfield's rookie year.
Was that good? I don't even know if I watched that.
That was Hugh Jackson, that whole, collapse from the get-go.
Hard Knocks. Seems like they're going to get, and especially with what's going on with Dak Prescott. I mean, you think you got some crap going on around here, and you're wondering when Wentz is going to be back, and this guy's foot hurts, that guy's foot hurts, the other dude's foot hurts. Everybody's got a foot that hurts. And you got a shoulder situation in Prescott where Jerry Jones said that they consulted with the Rangers physicians. You got Michael Irvin suggesting that, hey, if you watch him in practice, he's, I think, flipping the football, pitching with his left hand and not his right. So you got all kinds of controversy that's going to play right in to Hard Knocks and that debut of Hard Knocks coming up later on tonight. When were the Bengals? How long ago were the Bengals on Hard Knocks? Was that last year? Year before last?
Last year they did that double with the Rams and the Chargers.
Yeah. Well, the Bengals have been a while then. Have the Bengals not been on since
2013?
Wow, that's a long time ago. Have I not paid attention? I watched the year when they were in Miami. I watched that because that had
2012.
Yeah, Vontae Davis, remember, got traded here during an episode of that. 2012. So I haven't watched it that long. Give me the rundown here from 13 on to this year.
13 Bengals, 14 Falcons, 15 Houston, 16 Rams, 17 Buccaneers, 18 Browns, 19 Raiders. Last year, Rams, Chargers duo.
Yeah. All right, then. So I guess I haven't watched it in a while. So, yeah, I'm the one that needs rehab, I guess.
Would you like if the Colts are on there 1 year? I think that means that they missed the playoffs the year before. Would it be interesting?
Yeah. I mean, they could have been on here. They arguably would have been the most interesting during this whole Luck saga of all time.
They could have been ahead of the 18 season. They would have been interesting, yeah, with Luck. Is he going to return or not?
Can you imagine that? And he retires like mid-season. Retires mid-season when it comes to Hard Knocks. It's like James Evans Sr. going to get a job in Mississippi and going to bring the family down with him, and then he got sick and tired of being on Times, and then they wrote him off by killing him. Come on, Good Times. The best part of the show. Just fell in love with Dynamite, but he was the best part of the show. Like Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake. Yeah, he wants to lead the show. He wants to squabble about contracts and money. Yeah, we'll ride his ass out of this thing. We're going to kill him. That's awesome. Well done. We'll talk to Stephen Holder coming up in the 5 o'clock hour regarding Eason and Ellinger and everybody blowing a gasket. You start to blow a gasket if things aren't looking good, and that's how you're going in. All right, quick break. Greg Rakestraw is going to join us on the other side next.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. It's the Big O Tires anniversary sale now through September 6th. Save up to $150 off a set of Big O brand tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
This year, a new tradition will be born at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. NASCAR and IndyCar take on the road course over Brickyard Weekend. Tensions will run high and paint will fly as drivers like Elio, Logano, Jimmy, Bubba, Newgarden, Elliott, and more battle it out to be crowned rulers of the road. Don't miss the Midsummer Mayhem at the racing capital of the world. It's where history will be made and where racing never stops. August 13th through the 15th. Tickets at IMS.com.
The first bet on Caesars Sportsbook app is up to $5,000 risk-free, people. When I told my team about the idea, they said I was being too wonderful and magnificent. But I don't care how awesome this makes me. I'm doing this for the people. So just download the app, and that first bet is up to $5,000 risk-free. Caesar made an app for the people.
Must be 21. Offer valid in Indiana only and for new players. Paid in bet credits. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Dave Matthews Band. Summer Tour 2021. This Friday and Saturday night, Ruoff Music Center. Reserve seat tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Part of the Coors Light Concert Series.
When times are tough, people need more than dependable health insurance. They need dependable help so they can live a better life. That's why the CareSource Life Services Program provides our members personalized coaching to help get them steady jobs, safe housing, and reliable rides. Our members receive stable, healthy Indiana plan benefits, but also the trusted guidance they need from CareSource to gain more independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
Calling all auto techs, detailers, painters, body shop, lot attendants, other auto specialists, and just awesome people everywhere. Carvana, the company that invented the new way to buy a car, is having a hiring event at their inspection center in Indianapolis. Grow on the go with one of the fastest growing companies in America. They have open roles for all levels of experience, even no experience. Openings include automotive techs, auto body and paint professionals, detailers, and inventory associates, with competitive pay, on-the-job training, and company-paid certifications that give everyone a path to success. Get a great job on day one with the opportunity for a Carvana career. You'll also get health insurance. Carvana pays 100% of the premium for its employees, an extra pay, and 4-day work weeks for second shift. Grow your career with stability. Come to Carvana's hiring event. You know, the one that's at their inspection center in Indianapolis, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. August 25th through 26th. Located at 6508 West F.W. Marks Drive. Sign up at CarvanaJobsIndy.com. Carvana is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Patriot Heating and Air. Owned and operated by veteran Rob Moran, who says you need to think about the long-term savings when buying a new furnace and air conditioner.
I had a customer who had been a long-time customer actually buy from someone else because they were about $200 cheaper. He called me out about 7 months later because his new equipment from another manufacturer was not working properly. It was installed improperly.
Get the job done right the first time with Patriot Heating and Air, 317-889-4360. They're your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Summer happens at Speedway because everything you need for summer happens at Speedway. Like drinks. Drinks happen. The freshly brewed drink, the splashed over ice drink, the wake you up drink, the cool you off drink, the make your brain hurt for a minute drink. All poured however you want them, whenever you want them, all summer long. So on every hot day, you have something cold to sip. Speedway, summer happens here. And now, get any size fountain or Speedy Freeze for just 89 cents. Excludes maximum.
Hey, it's John for PAI. We grow hair80.com. If you're losing your hair and you want a solution, if you want options, they're real options with your real growing hair. Again, multi-unit hair grafting, artist robotic, FUE, laser hair therapy, and you have something at the tail end of it with PRP, platelet-rich plasma, that also, if you continue to do that, will regenerate hair growth. It's easy. 888-724-5129. Darren Andrews with that private consultation today. WeGrowHairIndy.com.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live in the moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, it's JMV. Listen Thursday 3 until 6. I'll be at IMS with Future Star Racing. They help race car drivers advance to the next level by supporting talent that lacks resources. Courtesy of Wings and Wheels Foundation.
Summer school is officially in session. It's Colts training camp at Grand Park in Westfield.
Come back toward the ball.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan has you covered like no other station. Kevin Bowen reports daily from camp with interviews from the players and coaches to the inside workings of the front office. If it's happening there,
Concentrate, get better.
you'll hear about it here.
Yourself, I gotta get better.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, the exclusive radio home of the Indianapolis Colts. The Ride with JMV.
It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries.
It's quite pungent. It stings the nostrils.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, who parked the train on the south side across the tracks? You know that only creates FUBAR. Don't do it. It is funny. I'm going to find this inside the lounge via YouTube Live. And this is so right. And you know, I love Ron Colley. My kid absolutely loves Ron Colley. And I don't know if this is what Kat means by this. It is a geographical oddity. It is 2 weeks from everywhere. It is funny. Anyway, I can, unless you live right over there by Ron Colley. And I live in Bargersville. And every way to get there is absolutely the same. It is. It is the same. Same time, same length. That's pretty funny. I don't know if that's what you meant by it, but that's what kind of clicked in my little tiny brain. So I thought that was awesome. So, Kat, well done. And no, that was not, if you're watching on YouTube Live, the grocery list. It was trying to get across the train tracks. And that's always terrible, especially the ones in the morning. When you do it during morning rush hour, somebody needs an ass whipping for that. I don't know why you do that, because there's only really, especially the ones that are furthest east, closest, for example, to Emerson, right? And there are only like 2 different places where you can get over that bad boy. Ah, man. See, Covey says that was, "Oh, brother, where art thou?" quote. Hey, I tell you what, Kat, though, it clicked in my brain, though, with the situation that went on during the break here. So, the irony of all ironies right there. Or, if it's not an irony, a coincidence. I often get those mixed up, too. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. He's in charge, play-by-play-wise. Coming up on Sunday, preseason game number 1 for the Colts. Carolina is here, and Greg Rakestraw is, too, via the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. How many of these games are you doing with our good friend Rick Venturi?
That would be all 3 of them. Very
Nice.
lucky that national TV did not come in and gobble up one of our games. Our feed will be shown on NFL Network on Sunday afternoon, but Rick and I get to do all 3.
That is absolutely awesome. So let's start right here. I had to kind of squash a little bit everybody losing their stuff, because I think once somebody describes an Eason versus Ellinger quarterback battle, everybody starts losing it just a little bit. And to me, there's still time, and we're certainly going to see when these guys play somebody different. But from your time up at Westfield, what have you seen from both so far that is transferable from the practice setting that they've been in to a practice setting with a different team and then ultimately a preseason game Sunday?
Transferable is a good question, and I'm not sure I've got an accurate answer for you, so let me just kind of give you general observations on both. Eason, there's not been like a happy medium. Either he's looked pretty good or he's had some days where he's really struggled. Today was one of his better days. Again, they were in shells. So there was no blitz drills. There was no 11 on 11. There was no pop on a pass. He's not getting hit anyway. But you can take all practice numbers with a grain of salt, especially take today's with a grain of salt. We're going to learn a lot about how Eason's looking, not even on Sunday, but on Thursday and Friday. Eason has the size. Eason has the arm talent. The best throw that I see Eason make is one about 20 or 25 yards down the field, kind of in between what would be the linebacker and safety level against a zone. He is fantastic at finding a tight end or a cutting receiver across the middle of the field. That has impressed me. For Ellinger, it's about what he can do with his feet. And Ellinger reminds me in terms of how he throws so much of Phillip Rivers from last year, in that he doesn't have great arm strength, but he typically finds a way to get the ball there accurately on time. Now, he's had some struggles, and I forget which day it was, whether it was Saturday or Sunday at this point. All of a sudden, that ball started wobbling on him. I'm like, that's not good. And then today, his numbers, even though he got some time with the ones, really kind of his first extended time with the ones, maybe not as good as they had been with the twos. So you see bits and pieces of both. Here's the one thing I would say, to me, the most encouraging sign I saw today was not Ellinger getting time with the ones, but the fact that Carson Wentz was at practice and wasn't wearing any sort of apparatus on his foot. I mean, he clearly wasn't going to be practicing anytime soon, but the fact that he was out there standing, no crutches, no boot, that to me is a very good sign as to how his rehab is coming along.
I will tell you this, too. I think the good sign is going to be that the longer we go within training camp before the start of the season, if the Colts don't feel the need to go out and address that quarterback situation, i.e., if these guys are just not going to be ready and they know it, if they don't address it, that makes you feel good about the short-term or shorter-term return for Carson Wentz. And I've even gone as far to suggest this to me, and you might disagree. I think if the Colts believe that they can squeeze anything out of, for example, Eason in the first 2 weeks of the season, feeling that Wentz is absolutely going to be targeted date-wise to be back in week number 3, I don't think that they're going to go out and get a veteran presence. Now, if it's longer than that, and Eason's not living up to the bill, I think they absolutely will. But that's been my thought about this entire situation from the jump.
Even though I am not as must-win guy as you are, JMV, I'd probably bump that up by a week. In other words, you've got 2 weeks to prepare for the first game.
Right.
And whether it's using both quarterbacks or focusing on just one, you can junk, game plan, scrap your way to making something happen. The Seahawks, good team. Not exactly the Legion of Boom defensively, the way that it used to be. You can game plan and you can scheme and you can try to run the ball down their throat. And then once you get that tape out there for everybody to see, then it's a different scenario once you get to week number 2. So my thought has been, if they feel Carson Wentz is going to be ready by September the 19th, I don't think they make a move. I think they can try to live for one game without Carson Wentz. If they think it's at least 2 weeks with the Rams coming in, who, again, just as good of a team, if not better than the Seahawks, but probably better defensively at this point than the Seahawks are, then maybe you are looking to make that move. But let's face it, Sunday and Monday are going to be pretty momentous as far as what the next month looks like for the Indianapolis Colts.
Greg,
you will get an extended look at both Eason and Ellinger, and then the next day is kind of that first mile marker in terms of how Carson Wentz is looking from a rehab standpoint. So my answer may be different when we talk next Tuesday than what it is today.
So Greg Rakestraw, he's got the call along with Rick Venturi of the Colts-Carolina matchup coming up on Sunday, preseason game 1, with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So listen, I don't mind if you move that up, and really, it's not average me if I don't move it up. Because I look at it this way, too. Like most people will suggest, hey, it's in the NFC, both NFC West games. That's okay. It's not an AFC game, but they're both home games. And you start out the season by losing 2 home games, which, to me, I don't think anybody would want, even with the lack of success this team has had in the longer-term past at starting the season in Week 1.
Correct. And I mean, go back 3 years, this group went 1-5 and made the playoffs and won a playoff game. So we know that it is possible, but you don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball. And I think this team is to a point, even with question marks at quarterback, where they never want to put themselves in a scenario where they go, hey, that's a game we can afford to drop, or that's a game we're thinking about losing. I think this team, you would hope every team is like that, but especially this team, because of all the pieces they have in place, other positions, their thought is, okay, how do we defensively and creatively, offensively scheme our way to a victory without our primary option at quarterback? That's why it has always resonated with me. Not like you spent a heck of a lot of time prepping for the 4th preseason game anyway, but literally you have 2 weeks unencumbered to prepare and game plan your way into being good offensively. Again, without showing your hand on tape the first 3 weeks of the preseason games, I think you can find a way to do that against Seattle. Once you get to that second week, now we're having a different conversation.
It's Greg Rakestraw joining us. What else from your time up in Westfield has stood out? Because I guess conventional wisdom, and rightly so, would suggest conversationally about this Colts team that, hey, the other aspects of this team that Chris Ballard and others talk about organizationally that has more depth and is built for this, especially up front, defensive, offensive sides of the football, because it's not always about one person. It's not always about the quarterback, even though we know most of the time in the NFL or any level of football it is about the quarterback. But are they capable? Should they be able to sustain a couple of weeks to start this season? If a guy like Eason has to take the snaps under center, should the rest of this team be able to pick them up to at least at the very least split between Seattle and LA?
I certainly think they can, and I like the depth at a lot of positions now. That depth is being tested along the offensive line, and there is a clear cutoff from their starting 5, which maybe is the best offensive line in football, to the guys they have brought in behind them. But you've got a second-year guy in Danny Pinter that's kind of your top backup at center and guard. The next 3 or 4 guys you would go to on your offensive line, these are all guys that have spent 4, 5, 6, 7 years in the league. Depth at the defensive line. I like what I'm seeing from this team defensively. Again, we're going to learn a lot more Thursday, Friday, and Sunday when you're facing another team, and that way we know, hey, is it just the Colts offense that has been struggling, which is making that defense look good, or is there something there? I think it can be both. But I like the depth this team has at cornerback. I like the depth this team has at linebacker. I like the depth the team has as far as defensive line is concerned. The fact that Marlon Mack is your backup running back, again, is something that's pretty special. The guy was a 1,000-yard rusher for you a couple of years ago. So, yeah, there's a lot of great depth up and down this roster. There's maybe wasn't that great depth at quarterback, and that got tested on day number 2 of the preseason training camp.
So it was a good thing that there was no boot on Wentz. Equally good because there was no boot on Quentin Nelson today.
Well, somebody could have tried to place a boot on Quentin Nelson. Might have snarled at him. That would scare the bejesus out of me. It was the one thing that was noticeable, obviously, the day when he had the surgery. It's one of those things where you kind of casually look off to the other field and you go, hey, Nelson's wearing a boot. Is that something we should be concerned about? And then literally, Frank Reich says 2 hours later, hey, he's going in for surgery at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So, yes, that's a good thing, too. Again, if you go over the 2-week timeline, Wentz's update is Monday, which is an off day for the Colts. Nelson's update is Tuesday. In theory, I've always thought that Nelson might return quicker because you're kind of going to be a little less mobile as the left guard versus the starting quarterback. You could argue it's different because the amount of weight that you're putting on at 320 pounds to that surgically repaired foot, so time will tell. But, yes, I take that as a good sign, too.
All right, so Braden Smith was on what they call a maintenance day, and clearly their maintenance day was a hell of a lot different than my maintenance day back in the day before a date. So he was with a boot on a maintenance day today, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so there were 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen missing today for the Indianapolis Colts. Mark Glowinski was the only guy holding it down. And one of the things that Frank Reich said after practice today is that today was shells. It was 90 minutes. They're planning on only being out for about an hour tomorrow. And I would have to think weather conditions factor in that a little bit too, given how hot it's going to be the next couple of days. But they really want to peak for Thursday and Friday and then rest day and go play on Sunday. So they're trying to make sure everybody is as healthy as possible because you could argue they will get more out of Thursday and Friday, will the Colts, than they will any of the 3 preseason games because of that controlled scrimmage environment against the Carolina Panthers. And you see the 1s, the 2s, the 3s go up against each other, et cetera. So it wouldn't surprise me if Braden gets a maintenance day tomorrow too, because I think a lot of guys will get a maintenance day tomorrow so they can be ready to go on Thursday.
And the Buckner foot situation is
That's what we have been told. Well, again, let's see him on Thursday. We'll have a conversation about that.
No doubt about that. Now, will you guys get Jim Irsay in the booth at some point during the preseason?
I have been told that Jim is slated to join us in the second half of Sunday's game.
Really?
Yes.
Well done right there. Well done. So
I had nothing to do with that, but I'll take full credit for it. Thank you.
Well, you know who has something to do with it is Jim. That's who wants to do it. If Jim wants to do it, he's going to do it, and that's how that all works out. So, good for you guys.
I'll warn viewers, we may take a few extra breaks in the first half, and we may have a few extra breaks in the fourth quarter because when Jim starts going, I'm not sure I can stop him. We just kind of let him go.
All right, I know you've been around this forever. Outside of maybe the Luck rookie season or a Luck return, I think 3 years ago, when we watched Luck take that initial hit against Bobby Wagner in Seattle, that was like a defining moment where everybody, I think, as Colts fans and media, you were really dialed into that preseason game. Is this going to be the most watched preseason game because of the quarterback situation in a while?
I think that is fair to see. 2 years ago, because we were like, hey, is Luck going to play? Hey, is Luck going to play? Oh, he's retiring. That kind of made that must-see TV for all 3 or 4 games of it. But, yes, and again, Frank Reich has said, listen, we're not going to treat Jacob Eason as a normal number 1. In other words, like when the 1s are done, Jacob isn't going to be done. And so you will see extended minutes for Jacob Eason. You will see extended minutes for Sam Ehlinger because you simply have to try to find out what you got in as close to game situations as possible.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, and the Luck thing, I remember the video that I posted popped up. That was like taking that first hit from Bobby Wagner in the preseason was like a huge moment, if you remember back then.
As per usual, I make things about me, John. That was a 10 o'clock kickoff in Seattle on a Thursday night. Our post-game show went till 4 in the morning that night. That's what I remember from that evening.
I'm glad you brought that up because I forget about this stuff. You didn't ask me to do the post-game show, did you? Am I slated to do it?
You can just focus on the pregame show.
Good.
I'm going to handle in shirt and tie the post-game show.
Are you
on
really?
Sunday. And then Casey Valier on the 1s and 2s for the 2 road game post-game shows.
I'll do a pregame show all day because normally during the pregame show I can throw back some drinks and stuff, but there are not enough drinks on the counter to do a postgame show, especially during the preseason. It's just not.
You say I got to do some heavy lifting on that program is what you're saying on a regular basis?
Well, wasn't it the Pittsburgh game years ago where I came in here and it was like I got out of here like 1 a.m. It was not fun.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I was doing the American Legion World Series in Shelby, North Carolina.
Son of a
you
gun.
were kind enough to fill in on the postgame show for me.
Woo, God, that was terrible. I mean, it was awful. I love doing the pre. The pre's awesome. I mean, the pre is fun. It's exciting. And, you know, people are bringing beers and drinks, and that's great. But, man, the postgame got nothing. And
Postgame show are bringing coffee at this stage.
Well, the postgame preseason show is the worst.
Those tend to become just general season previews. We tend to do like position by position breakdowns, and we get into the weeds of the depth chart. That's how we do things in the preseason postgame show.
I just read all of their commercial reads as slow as possible. Did you ever hear me do it? That's what I said, buddy. Brett, I was just reading them as slow as possible to try to pass the time, brother.
I'm sure the folks in Red Gold appreciated your enthusiasm for their product.
I appreciate you. We'll be watching coming up on Sunday, Greg. Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.
It's Greg Rakestraw right there. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. Kyle, did you just notice what I did? I shut my mic off instead of hanging up on him. Where's my brain? See, there are two things. Mike's here. If you guys are watching, Mike's here, phone's here, and instead of hanging up on Greg, I shut my own mic off. I mean, you talk about the world of jackassery is swirling in the studio right now. Austin Gale, my nickname around here is Director of Content. Austin Gale is Pro Football Focus's Director of Content, so we're on the same page with that. We'll go around the NFL with Austin Holder's going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Dave Matthews Band tickets this Friday I have for you, and you're at Dave Matthews Band reentry. I have Dead and Company for you, the Subway Party Deck, to give away a little bit later on. And somebody's going to go out Saturday to IMS for some racing. We got some racing tickets for this weekend for you as well. Back with you next.
Summer is here, so kids, tell your parents about the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock with welcome arms. Your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain, or a mother load of it for that matter. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
My friend Lance, LD Smith Plumbing, local and the best. If you have any plumbing issues or if you just want to make some plumbing changes within your house, Lance and his local team are ready to get the job done the best for you. 317-284-9526. I talked to Lance this morning, in fact, about some things that they're doing, and really, plumbing-wise, they do absolutely everything for you, and they are especially awesome when it comes to emergencies, because believe me, that's when things really get tight for you. You got to have somebody that you can count on that will get out there right away to make sure your plumbing emergency is taken care of. They've done that for me. They'll do that for you. That's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526 online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Ah, summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to let Golden Oak Lending help you tap into your growing home equity. But home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Janet. But since she is so focused on growing her career, we hired an actor to read her story.
At Geico, we really help each other. If anything comes up, we work through it as a group, so we all learn.
As a full-time employee, she can also get paid benefits like medical, dental, vision, and parental leave. She even got a plaque for her desk that says, "I'm kind of a big deal." Yeah, you are, Janet.
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
Looking for a hot tip to bet on? Check out the new Match Tips at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. The new tips feature gives you special insights on player props and match bets for the top tips of the day. Go to Bet Rivers before the game, find your match, and tap the tips icon to see independent research on recent team and player performance. Bet with confidence. Visit the Bet Rivers mobile app or go to betrivers.com and get the top tips of the day. Must be 21 and located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Hey, Indiana drivers, Unleaded 88 fuel can now be found at a pump near you. Unleaded 88 is a high-octane fuel blend that costs less than standard fuel blends. And if you have a yellow gas cap, use E85, a high-octane fuel that helps boost horsepower and enhance engine performance. Now you can fill up your vehicle with fuels that are great for your engine, great for the environment, and great for your wallet. To find a pump near you, visit UNL88.com or download the free Gas Buddy app today. This message brought to you by Indiana corn farmers and their checkoff.
I'm Greg Gossett, President and CEO of ERPCO, your complete electrical systems and automation contractor. While you may recognize us from some of the highest profile projects in Indianapolis, did you know that we also perform residential work? Storm season is upon us, so keep your family safe with a home generator installed by the experts from ERPCO. Contact our service team. You'll be glad you did. Visit the ERPCO website at erpco.com for more information. We're a quality connection contractor. Quality work, customer connected.
Kurt Cavan here for Thorpe Real Estate. We've talked sports for years. Now let's talk about buying or selling your home. 317-622-8350.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Listen on air, online at 1075thefan.com, and on our free app at Google Play and on the App Store. The Ride with JMV.
This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Greg Raystraw podcast, 1075thefan.com, and Jim Irsay's in the booth with Greg and Rick Venturi on the TV broadcast for a segment or two in the second half of the game on Sunday. A shout out to Dave in Brownsburg. He requested this song on Saturday night. I forgot to play it. My bad. It is Genesis and No Reply at All. Genesis on tour coming up later on this year. Chicago twice, November 15th and 16th. And I think the closest they're going to be besides that's Columbus, Ohio on December the 8th. But my bad, Dave in Brownsburg. That was awful. I should have done it for you. And I completely forgot. Hey, also a quick shout out to Johnson County REMC. Somebody hit a poll down the road from where I live. Thus, all of our electricity went out last night, and they thought initially it was going to be 5 or 6 hours, and they got it done within the hour, around 10 o'clock last night. So shout out to Johnson County REMC, getting that done within an hour. And to whoever hit the poll. You know, it's Friday. It was our internet. And then John, the president of Johnson County Fiber, was kind enough to call in. They got that done quick, too. Well done. So, Eason looked good today. Eason and Ellinger with a battle, and we're going to learn more in these practice dates with Carolina than the preseason game on Sunday. We'll talk a little bit more in depth than just that, though, with Austin Gale of Pro Football Focus coming up next, including Wentz, his return, how Austin Gale views the Colts within the AFC South, and more. That's coming up next.
Every play is a play to bet on. Whether it's who scores next, a three-pointer, or a free throw, it could be the play that matters to you. So bet live at Unibet Sportsbook. Live betting options for every moment of the game. Sign up now to get $500 risk-free. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, John here for Big Red Liquors, 59 locations in Indiana to serve you. Not only do you get the best selection, best prices you're going to find anywhere, whether you're talking on a Tuesday evening or getting you set for your parties of the weekend, there you go. And now you can also win one of 6 Solo stoves. So you're asking what a Solo stove might be. It is the world's best smokeless stove. Example, great patio side, campsite. It is awesome, like a little fire pit that's really nice, and you can win one of 6 just stopping by Big Red Liquors and getting signed up. No purchase necessary, but you got to be 21 to sign up. Solo stoves, one of 6. You can sign up at the 59 Big Red Liquors location in the state of Indiana. You can check it out online, bigredliquors.com today.
We're celebrating the Hoosier spirit at your Indiana State Fair. We've got new tastes, new sounds, new rides, new attractions, and are excited to create new smiles of summer.
Your Indiana State Fair is closed today. Join us tomorrow through Sunday for another round of State Fair fun. Plan your trip today at indianastatefair.com.
Join us July 30th through August 22nd for 18 splendidly spirited days at your great Indiana State Fair.
First comes love. Then comes sparkle. And that's where Diamonds Direct comes in. Engagement ring shopping is so easy at Diamonds Direct. Step 1, choose your perfect diamond. Step 2, choose your setting. Step 3, relax. Your Diamonds Direct engagement ring comes with a free lifetime warranty. That's no charge ever for sizing, cleaning, and routine maintenance. Step 4, the most important one. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
317-353-2141. You may want to size up what your cooling unit's doing right now, because on a day like today, you will know, is it getting the job done right? It is hot. It is humid. And if your system isn't working the way that it should, get it tuned up by the best. John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141. And if they determine you need something new because this one's on its last legs, the best deal, craftsmanship, workmanship around at one place. It's Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141. John and Chris Love online, love-hvac.com today.
My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven. But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Greenprint. Financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at regions.com/Greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Over 1/3 of adults released from Indiana prisons return within 3 years, but CareSource wants to break that cycle. That's why we provide vital assistance for our members to find jobs, housing, and education after they serve their time, while alleviating a major burden on taxpayers, too. A healthy Indiana depends on so much more than just healthcare. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust, like Family Heating and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Dodgers, Mets, Sunday Night Baseball. The action begins at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I want savages on the field. I want to lead the league in broken ribs. I want to put people in the hospital legally, no hitting in the head. I want them to cry and be scared to play us.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Greg Rakestraw's got the call. Colts, Carolina coming up on Sunday. He and Rick Venturi. Jim Irsay, Colts owner, is going to be in the booth at some point in the second half for that game, so a lot to watch for you. Stephen Holder, The Athletic, in the 5 o'clock hour. We have an Eason v. Ellinger going on at Westfield at Colts camp right now, and there are a lot of people suggested Ellinger didn't have a good year a year ago, correct?
He had 150 quarterback rating, 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 60% completion percentage.
Is that not a good year in
Texas.
college? That sounds pretty good. What was his I'm not suggesting he's going to be great or the starter or anything, but to say he didn't have a good year last year under center, he did he not?
I mean, if you're a 4-year starter at a school like Texas, you have to be pretty good.
It's curious. All right, back to that coming up in a minute, too. Alex writes this, so I watched the Brawl documentary last night on Netflix. Those are 2 docs I got to see. I got to see that one, Alex, even though I lived through that, but I do want to see it. And then I got to see Cocaine Cowboys, Kings of Miami, with a good friend Billy Corbin directing that, because the original Cocaine Cowboys, incredible. And I've heard good things about this one. But anyway, the fan on Netflix in this documentary said J.O. punched. The fan that J.O. punched had the audacity to call the punch a blank move. That guy, Jermaine O'Neal, slipped, and had he not slipped, that guy's face would still be laying on the floor. It was about ready to become detached. But that is on Netflix right now. Meantime, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. We're both directors of content, me here and he at Pro Football Focus. Austin Gale joins us now. How are you?
Doing great, man. How about yourself?
Well, director of content. That's a nickname. I know that's your title, but that's a hell of a nickname right there. That means you're with it. That means that you are with it. All right. I want to know 2 things. I want to know what you had previously thought regarding Carson Wentz going into the season when the Colts went out and got him via trade, and how he could affect this team in 2021. And then how you feel through this injury, and do you still feel the same as you did prior to? Because we're kind of we're used to this whole quarterback injury situation around here, but this is certainly one that we're judging how quickly he may be able to grasp what people are hoping, especially his head coach, a higher level of productivity than certainly we saw a year ago in Philly here.
Yeah, I definitely think entering the season and with this trade, a lot of me felt that Carson Wentz would have, statistically the best season of his NFL career under Frank Reich, now developed and hopefully healthy. But the problem is now you're not going to get that opportunity to work with the receivers, to work with this new team, to work with this offense in Indianapolis before the regular season. And even if he's ready by week 1, week 2, that lost time, I do think, leads to a slowed start for the Indianapolis Colts, so much that it's going to be very difficult to compete in this division. I think the Tennessee Titans right now are the betting favorite according to Vegas sportsbooks, and I think they will be for the foreseeable future. They are in a better position to win this division. And if the Indianapolis Colts, say, miss Carson Wentz for more than just week 1 or week 2, say it does stretch into week 4, week 5, that I think honestly puts them out of position to pursue a playoff run, maybe outside of a deep wild card berth. But you didn't trade for Carson Wentz to get into the playoffs on a wild card berth and lose maybe 1 or 2 games into the postseason. You traded for Carson Wentz to be in the driver's seat in the AFC, and I just don't think with the injuries, with the slowed off, with the missed off season, they're going to be in that driver's seat. I don't think Carson Wentz can be, make them competitive with the Kansas City Chiefs and others.
It's Austin Gale of Pro Football Focus. He's the director of content on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. I have suggested this. I think they're going to ride with one of these 2 Eason or Ellinger situations if they believe that Wentz is back. Let's say, I've said by week 3, so I'll keep it at week number 3. However, if it's a little bit longer, then I think you're going to know, and they're going to go out and try to find some sort of veteran quarterback, not named Brett Hundley, that's clearly on the roster right now. Is that what you also believe they may be thinking? I mean, go with the guys with the inexperience in the very short term, but if it's longer than maybe the first couple of weeks, that's when we're going to know they're going to go out and find somebody of the veteran type.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think obviously Nick Foles has a connection to Frank Reich and Carson Wentz for that matter. I think that's a name that's been thrown around. I also think Marcus Mariota is another option. I don't think they ultimately go the Jimmy Garoppolo route, even though he's likely could be available for trade if Trey Lance is given the nod. He's just going to be so expensive. He's due the 5th largest cap hit of any quarterback or any player really in the NFL this upcoming season. I don't think the Colts make that big of a financial investment in what is going to be a short-term solution. They obviously invested in Carson Wentz for a reason. They they feel that he can be a quarterback in Indy for some time. I think other options could be Marcus Mariota, Nick Foles. I think you saw Phillip Rivers saying he might come back later in the season if he can make weight. I think those are the names that make more sense. They're not going to double down and make a wild investment after this injury like the Raiders did with, say, Carson Palmer when Jason Campbell went down. They are not in that position. They shot the moon with Carson Wentz, traded what should have been a first-round pick or could even still be a first-round pick for him to lead with him. They can't now double down and overreact to this injury and then force themselves into an even worse spot.
It's Austin Gale with us. You look around this team, and I always bring up the words of Chris Ballard when he first received the gig here in that initial press conference when Andrew Luck was still here. He said you can't be about one guy. Well, essentially in the NFL, you normally at the quarterback position are going to be, more times than not, about one guy. But I would ask you this. Is this team capable of doing other things to withstand either a backup of any sort to Carson Wentz playing early on, and then when Carson Wentz gets back, can they withstand Carson Wentz getting used to things after not having camp?
I think so much of this, the rest of this team has to exceed expectations if they're going to, say, enter week 7, week 8 with legitimate deep playoff potential. I think you need to see this defense take massive steps forward. You need the highly paid Darius Leonard to be up there with the best linebackers in the NFL. And I also think you need this offensive line to be healthy and successful. Obviously, you paid Braden Smith big money to be the starting right tackle, but Quentin Nelson isn't even healthy, and you don't know if he's going to be back by week 2, week 3. So that's another concern for this offense. It's a very capable, high-end offensive line when healthy, but you need some, you need the ball to bounce your way in some situations. You need, obviously, Jonathan Taylor to live up to second-year expectations out of Wisconsin. There's so much that needs to go right for the Colts for them to even be in the race with the Buffalo Bills, the Chiefs, the Browns, and already we're seeing so much go wrong with obviously the Carson Wentz injury, the Quentin Nelson injury. A lot needs to get better, and I think you need to start to see some fortunate bounces for the Colts for them to even be considered deep playoff contenders.
Director of Content at Pro Football Focus. He's going to be our weekly Tuesday guest, Austin Gale, via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So $99 million, 5-year deal, highest paid linebacker, Darius Leonard. I'm curious, what did you think about the deal when you first saw it? Then what do you think about it moving forward, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that Darius Leonard is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. I think he goes toe-to-toe with Fred Warner, and some of the other, Devin White and some of the others there, Levante David. But the concern is obviously when you put that much money into an off-ball linebacker and then you also pay Braden Smith and they're going to make Quentin Nelson the highest paid guard, this is where it gets to the point where you have such an expensive core of players that you're going to need help somewhere. And I think that's obviously where the rookie quarterback conversation enters the mix. When you have a quarterback on a rookie contract, it gives you so much more opportunity to build around an expensive roster. And I think that's where the Colts have to be thinking right now, because they're not going to be a team, if Carson Wentz is out, say, the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season, they're not going to be a team that's, competing for a Super Bowl. And they need to start to think about potentially making a play for a younger quarterback to get cheaper at the obviously most expensive position in football.
All right, I also want to ask you about this. They're going to owe Quentin Nelson at some point a great deal of money and a longer-term contract. We know that, and I'm kind of curious. I've always asked this. I've asked your colleague Sam Monson about this path before as well. When you pay so much, you're going to pay so much for a left guard. You're paid a lot for your right tackle. You paid a lot for your center. And then you hope that Eric Fisher comes around, and you hope he plays well enough to where you have to sink a lot of money into the left tackle. Can you spend that much money along the offensive line? And is that a good way to go about how you're trying to become a high-level team, hopefully an AFC title contending team, a Super Bowl contending team? Is that a great way to go about it?
You can. You absolutely can if and only if you strike gold at the quarterback position. They're obviously hoping Carson Wentz could be that gold for them with Frank Reich, maybe live up to what he looked like pre-injury in what was potentially an MVP caliber campaign that, 2016 season. But anyway, I do think that you look at what the Raiders did when they invested in Kelechi Osemele, Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson, Donald Penn, and they had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. That offensive line quickly was one of the best in the NFL, top 3 unit. but quickly deteriorated, and they had to move on from Gabe Jackson. They had to move on from Rodney Hudson. They were lucky Donald Penn retired and all that stuff went down because the quarterback did not play up to expectation, obviously got hurt that season as well. I think it's a dangerous game when you don't have, the star at quarterback, especially one on a rookie contract like others have in the NFL right now.
Austin Gale from Pro Football Focus with us. All right, we got your viewpoint of how you look at the Colts starting the season with a dinged-up quarterback and how early season to you was important. What's Tennessee look like now, considering the injury circumstances the Colts have? What do the Titans look like to you? Has that changed since we heard and had to withstand the quarterback injury here, the Quentin Nelson injury here? Have you had a change of heart regarding that?
Yeah, I do think that the Tennessee Titans were originally, I think, plus 100 to win the division. Then you see Vegas now shifting in their direction at minus 130. I think that's where I'd lean as well. The Tennessee Titans with Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill. There are some concerns along the offensive line. I think they're going to start either Kendall Lamb or Dylan Radins there at right tackle. That could be a concern. I do think that they need to see some improvement along the offensive line. I think they also need all these new faces to work with Julio Jones and Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill maintaining what they've done in the past. And defensively, this is a team that cut both their starting quarterbacks. Cornerbacks, Adoree Jackson and Malcolm Butler. That's a tough thing to overcome. Oftentimes, it's difficult to be young in the secondary. I think the Tennessee Titans defense might be in trouble if this offense doesn't put up monster points, but still, it's a division that's overall relatively weak. That even the Indianapolis Colts, who are the best competitor, are battling injuries with Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson, the Houston Texans, an obvious dumpster fire, and Jacksonville is in a position where they have so many new faces. It's going to be very difficult to hit the ground running with Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, etc.
All right, what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson with the Texans, in your estimation?
So I do think that John McClain, the longtime beat writer for the Houston Texans, is right in that he's never going to play it down for the Houston Texans again. I do think that the NFL is going to come down with some sort of suspension. I also think these legal issues, the 22 filings of sexual misconduct, are going to catch up to Deshaun Watson to a point where he may not play another down. But he might not play another down in the NFL. I think he's such a risk right now for obvious and clear reasons that I don't think the Houston Texans are suiting him up. I think they're ultimately starting either Tyrod Taylor, the veteran, or the rookie out of Stanford, Davis Mills.
All right, so we saw how much money Josh Allen got in Buffalo. What is going to be the short-term effect and then the future financial effect of guys like Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, it's interesting. I do think that you could see Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson will sign extensions at least close to what Josh Allen put up. Maybe it's not as much, but I think it will be close to. I would be really, really surprised if the Baltimore Ravens don't do it. I think the only one in question may be the Browns. But I think the Browns would be the smartest to take a Dallas Cowboys approach to Baker Mayfield. Give him a franchise tag. Give him a second franchise tag after the fifth-year extension. The worst thing you can do in the NFL right now is pay a quarterback a second contract, a multi-year so he's the guy. It's why the Raiders are in the position they are. It's why Jared Goff and the Rams were in that position, Carson Wentz and the Eagles, Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, if you pay a quarterback that can't be a top 8, top 6 player at his position, that multi-year monster second contract, you put your team in financial hell to overcome mediocre quarterback play, as we've seen with a handful of teams in the NFL, as ones I've mentioned.
Many have predicted the Browns being a top 5 offense this season in the NFL. By virtue of that, if they reach that level alone, would that not justify moving forward the Browns with Mayfield outside of what you're talking about?
I think so, especially if the money makes sense and you continue to see the salary cap improve. I think the Browns have also done a really good job leveraging analytics to have the deepest or richest analytics front office of any team in the NFL to target high-performing players at low salaries. To get John Johnson, I think at $12 million APY was fantastic. Signing Jadeveon Clowney lifts the floor of this defense. And also, I think the receivers have also performed above expectation. Getting OBJ back, Jarvis Landry has been a value signing for them. And offensive line, it might be a top 5 unit in the NFL. It's all up to now Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield living up to high expectations. This team on paper, both offensively and defensively, should be in a position to go toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs.
You mentioned Jared Goff and the situation the Rams wiggled free of this past offseason. Matthew Stafford, as far as leading this Rams team, where does he take them, in your belief, in 2021?
So I think he is an upgrade over Jared Goff in Los Angeles. I think Sean McVay can do more things with Matthew Stafford, so much that this offense should take a step forward. However, I don't know if it's enough. I don't think the upgrade is enough to put them into, to vault them into competitive with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are clearly and obviously the best team in the NFC. And I think the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers now, with the last dance situation in Green Bay, I think they're the number 2 team in the NFC. We'll see if Los Angeles can show up to that avail, but we'll see. And I do think defensively, we can't underestimate what it means to lose Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley was one of the best defense coordinators in the NFL last year. And while they do have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Leonard Floyd and these talented, highly paid players, Brandon Staley was a big part of that. So seeing how this team reacts to losing Brandon Staley, I think, is another piece that could lead them to maybe meeting or not meeting expectations.
I'm curious what you think about Justin Herbert, too, and where do you think he's going to go coming off his rookie season? There are a great deal of expectations. I mean, sometimes when the load is that heavy, it doesn't work out positively, but for Justin Herbert, there are a lot of believers. Are you one?
I think I am a believer that he's going to be good. I think how good is the question. Is he going to vault himself into the Mahomes-level conversation? I don't think so. I do think that where he sees the most improvement is passing and accuracy from a clean pocket. We did not see that with a ton of success this past year, but where he sees maybe the most regression is, performance and passing grade on third downs and in the red zone. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL under pressure, on third downs, and in the red zone. 3 very volatile areas of play. Very difficult to maintain success in those 3 areas. Where he wasn't good was from a clean pocket and on early downs. Very stable areas of play. So I do think he gets better there and worse than the others. And where this middles out, I think Justin Herbert in year 2, the ceiling expectation for him is being a legit top 8, top 6 quarterback in the NFL. But the floor expectation, I honestly think he could land middle of the pack, top 15, top 16 this upcoming season.
He's Austin Gaylor, Pro Football Focus on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Will Michael Thomas play in New Orleans this season? And if not, where do you think he's going to end up? Yesterday, there was a lot of smoke regarding maybe Jacksonville having a level of interest. And, obviously the Ohio State connection of Urban Meyer and Thomas is there as well. But will he, at any point this season, play in New Orleans?
Yeah, I do think that while the financial kind of ramifications around trading Michael Thomas would be absurd for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
There could be a situation where they do move on from him, especially if he's unwilling to play in New Orleans. But the injury also puts a red flag on all of this. We don't know when he's going to be back healthy. Maybe week 6, maybe week 8. I think that hurts his trade value, obviously. And it also makes it difficult to really get a read on if he'll suit up at all. I think there's a chance he could spend a year on injured reserve, depending on how surgery and rehab goes. It's a very interesting situation where there's only really 2 parties that know exactly what's going on, Michael Thomas and the New Orleans Saints.
What's this New Orleans Saints team going to look like this season, post-Drew Brees era?
Not great. I'll say that. I don't think Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill lead this team to being all that competitive in the NFC. I don't think they either. I mean, defensively, there are some stars there. Offensive line, Ryan Ramczyk, Teron Armstead. They have a talented roster. They always have. But I think Drew Brees is what lifted the ceiling to make this team a legit playoff competitive team. I don't think Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston, regardless of who they go with or the combination, really leads this team beyond. They're not going to be better than the Rams this upcoming season. I don't see them being better than the Seahawks this upcoming season. Really puts them in a position where they're that top 8 to 10 team in the NFC and not necessarily a doormat because they're too talented and they have too talented coaches. I think they're going to be all that much of a threat in the NFC.
Hey, Austin, the premiere of Hard Knocks tonight with the Dallas Cowboys, which should be highly anticipated and certainly watched by not just Cowboy fans, but NFL fans in general. What do you think about what's going on surrounding Dak Prescott and the shoulder situation there?
So obviously he's throwing today. I think you could see, I think they're just being really cautious. I mean, he's a very expensive quarterback. I think you have to be cautious. The fact that he's already throwing and back in it is very, very good news for Dallas Cowboys fans. I think before the injury, Dak Prescott was on his way to lead what was going to be maybe a top 5, top 6 offense in the NFL. If he can stay healthy for 17 games and he can have Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, this offense could be legit. It could be one of the best, if not compete with Tampa Bay for the best offense in the NFC. I think that's how good the ceiling is. I think so much of it is health, though. I don't think it's Dak Prescott living up to expectation. I don't think it's Amari Cooper improving or CeeDee Lamb improving. It's just health. If these guys can stay healthy, they have the dogs to do it.
You mentioned the best offense in the NFC. Will Green Bay be atop that list? And we talked about Stafford and the effect that he's going to have on this Rams offense. And you also brought up the Buccaneers. Where would you rank each of those three at the beginning of the season offensively in the NFC?
Yeah, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are positioned to have the best offense in the NFC. I think Green Bay will compete and be right there with them, especially if Aaron Rodgers even looks like 90, 85% of what he looked at this past year in that MVP campaign. I would honestly put the Dallas Cowboys, given that you have a healthy Dak Prescott, ahead of Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. I think that's how good the Dallas Cowboys offense could be. I would probably put the Rams probably fourth fiddle, and then you start to consider, Seattle among other NFC teams.
Austin Gale is the director of content at Pro Football Focus. What is new on the site right now? I'm assuming this is the time of year, really, where people are intrigued about how you're looking into the future and what you think is going to happen coming up in 2021. What do you got for everybody?
100%. So much of August is obviously prepping fans for fantasy football and betting this upcoming season, but also there's no company in the NFL that's grading every single player and every single play in the preseason. So definitely come check us out this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're grading every single game. Should be a good weekend of football. We are stoked to have preseason football back. Obviously, last August, we didn't get a chance to see that. So seeing these rookies play, getting snap counts, getting target shares, pre-snap, all that data, getting that out and ready to rock and roll in the preseason is a good way to look at it.
All right, give us this. For all our fantasy football folks listening out there, your first 5 picks, who the first 5 selections should be in any fantasy draft out there.
Man, that is tough. I think, obviously, even with the injury coming back, I do think Christian McCaffrey is the number one fantasy football option this upcoming season. And after that, you really start to look at you start to consider Saquon Barkley, depending on if you're in PPR or half-point PPR leagues. Dalvin Cook is another option I really like in Minnesota. I think Alvin Kamara would be my number 3 or number 4 option. And then I start to consider Derrick Henry as my number 5. All running backs, they have there's only a handful of running backs in the NFL that are guaranteed volume. In fantasy football, so much of fantasy football is volume. How many carries, how many touches, how many receptions are you going to get consistently? And when you look at those first 5 backs, they're all projected bell cows, guys that will not be in a situation with a committee. They're going to be the guy, not a guy in that backfield. So I think targeting bell cows early, I think bell cows both at the running back position and the wide receiver position, like Devontae Adams and others, that's where I lean in fantasy football.
With Derrick Henry in Tennessee, though, with what they're doing offensively, and they bring in Julio Jones, you have A.J. Brown on the other side, will that take away from his bell cow status? And then playing off of that, where would you slot Jonathan Taylor, especially at the beginning of the season here, if Carson Wentz is either unavailable or just not ready for prime time as of yet?
Yeah, that's tough. I think, Jonathan Taylor isn't a top 10 fantasy football running back just considering the injury. I think the earliest I would take him is 10th when you're looking just at running backs. And I do think that Derrick Henry isn't the number 1, 2, 3 running back on my list because of how many mouths there are to feed in Tennessee, because of the fact that they're losing Arthur Smith and replacing him with Todd Downing. I think those are concerns Noah's bringing up with Derrick Henry. Obviously, he's a monster. Obviously, he's going to stiff-arm people into the underworld. But is he going to get the same volume? And is this offense going to be as good without Arthur Smith? And Arthur Smith now coaching in Atlanta.
That's Austin Gale, Pro Football Focus, Director of Content. We'll get you back on, as I know that a lot of folks in the coming weeks are going to start putting together their fantasy football drafts, and we'll be good to go with that. I appreciate you, Austin. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Austin Gale, Pro Football Focus. We're going to do another one this year, too. I'll get Brent Halverson involved. Fantasy Football League. That was fun last year. It was fun because I got that first pick, and I actually had to draft from I-69 on the shoulder of the road. Remember that? I had to go down and draft from the shoulder of the road because I was rolling and I couldn't get to a spot in time, so I drafted from the shoulder of the road. I had the first overall pick, and I got Christian McCaffrey, and you saw what happened. He got injured when? I still had a pretty good year even with that. Can you go back and find out how we did last year? Like, I remember, at least to what I believe, I had a good year. Did I have as good a year as what I believe? But, yeah, I had Christian McCaffrey, and it didn't take him too long to be injured. That was a good, fun league. And last year, if you remember, we gave away a bar restock from Heaven Hill Distillery. I think we'll have to do that. We'll see if we can combine it this year, a bar restock with Heaven Hill Distillery and Brent Halverson and Randy Strand. And we'll get Ryan Stoltz in on this with New Belgium Brewing, too. That'll be a complete bar restock for you. That will be a hell of a time right there. J-Law says, I was in the Final Four with J-Law and 2 others. I thought I had a really good season.
If I remember, they won't let me go back and look at it. But if I remember correctly, you lost in the semifinals to Brent.
I did. I lost to Halverson.
Yeah.
And I had dudes just injured all over the place, I think, by that time.
And the playoff format we had we'll have to tweak some playoff format stuff for this year.
Yeah. All right. If you guys are up for that, I'm up for it again. That was fun. Fun as hell. Drafting from the shoulder of I-69, which is incredibly safe. Yeah. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live, if you guys want to jump in there, they got the conversation working. This is the best. I know you guys were talking about that in there. I made an analogy, and, man, I yank analogies like crazy just right outside my rear end all the time. And I made the analogy of when you have a disgruntled actor that wants to get out. They didn't do that with Suzanne Summers in Three's Company. She was disgruntled and wanted out, and they just kind of let her out. But guys like McLean Stevenson and John Amos, man, they just killed them off. Say, all right, you want out? Well, you're dead. JMV, regardless of why it happened, Henry Blake's plane being shot down over the Sea of Japan still hits my feelings hard. The episode is titled, I'll Be Seeing You, Henry. And I would agree, that's terrible. Radar cries, and I don't want Radar crying. I mean, you get so mad. The writers and they get so mad. I mean, they didn't even do that with Sheen. Remember when Sheen went all winning? I mean, he just went nuts. How many years ago that was when they still had not 3 Men and a Baby, 2 dudes and a little kid? I watch that all the time. I love the reruns.
2.5 Men.
I can't watch I can't watch the Ashton Kutcher stuff. Just can't do it. I can't do it. It's like trying to watch. I don't want to watch like Eddie Murphy Raw after the first 45 minutes. I'm kind of done with it. I'm done with 2.5 Men when Ashton Kutcher comes on board. They just wrote Sheen out of there. Hey, quick one. We'll come back. I got time for you. Here's what I'll tell you what. No, we won't do that right now. I got time for you. In the next 10 minutes, somebody's going to win tickets for the Saturday races over at IMS, the Xfinity Series. That is IndyCar. That is on Saturday. Got tickets for you in a bit. So listen to win. Also, Dave Matthews Band. And I've got Dead & Company Subway Party Deck passes for you as well. It's a busy Tuesday. Back with you next.
Hey, it's JMV. If your hair is thinning and you're beginning to think, where do I begin? I went to We Grow Hair Indy because they are the most trusted name in hair restoration. Hair restoration is all they do, and they've been growing hair back for men and women for over 25 years. Their free virtual or in-person evaluation will give you the answers you need to grow your hair back. Schedule that by calling 888-724-5129 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com. I had the multi-unit hair grafting. It's their trademark procedure, and to keep my non-transplanted hair growing, the new 45-minute regenerative treatment from ExoFlow. No one else in the Midwest has this technology or has the Artist Robotic FUE, all in one place. If you're suffering hair loss and you want your hair back, 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today. Also, check out my VIP page. And again, Make the call, 888-724-5129.
Kurt Cavan here from Trackside. Over the years, you trusted me with your sports talk. Now let's talk real estate. I've been in business with Ralph Thorpe and Thorpe Real Estate since my days at the newspaper. And since we're a family-owned company, we can provide better personal service and keep more of your money in your pocket as you buy and sell your home. Give us a call at 317-622-8350. That's 622-8350. At Thorpe Real Estate, we can talk sports while saving you money.
Miles of pristine white sand below, expansive cerulean blue skies above, and wonderment everywhere you look. This is St. Pete Clearwater, Florida in the fall. Here, the senses awaken with the first morning light. Emerald green waters gently lap the shore. A calming Gulf breeze floats through the air. It's vivid, it's vibrant, and it's the perfect getaway. Plan your fall escape to America's best beaches at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Hey, John for Diamonds Direct. If you need a high-powered gift-giving idea this time of year, I've got one-stop shopping for you. And you do know this, right? You know that a lot of the battle is being easy, being hassle-free, and that's what they do for you at Diamonds Direct. They make it easy because, the anniversary, the birthday gift-giving idea where you have to go high bar here, that can be difficult, but not at Diamonds Direct. And you know this to be true, and if you don't, you better learn it. If you're taking that relationship up a notch, the next level, engagement time, if you don't do it perfectly or at least in the neighborhood of perfect, you are hosed. You will wear that for the rest of your life. Do it the right way, the best way, the perfect way. At Diamonds Direct, you're going to get the overall diamond education, so you're going to know everything that's going on. Your selection is unmatched anywhere in the state of Indiana. You got that. Warranties and guarantees unmatched. And then the price tag is awesome. You don't have to mention that to her, but the price tag is awesome. As an end result, it's hassle-free. You're near, if not completely perfect, at one place, and that's at Diamonds Direct. Online, diamondsdirect.com. It's Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
BetMGM welcomes you to Showtime with a risk-free first bet up to $600. Simply sign up and use bonus code MGM600 and you're on your way to betting with the king of sportsbooks. Plus, with BetMGM's new one-game parlay feature, you can choose from hundreds of bet types and combinations within a single game to build a perfect parlay. All the action on all your favorite sports will be at your fingertips when you download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use bonus code MGM600 to make your first bet risk-free up to $600. Bet with confidence and turn game day into payday at BetMGM. New customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hi, we're OfferPad, the new way homes are sold. Go to OfferPad.com, tell us about your home, and we'll send you a great cash offer. Or, if that's not your style, we can also list your home with tons of free OfferPad services, free handyman fixes, house cleaning, yard work, and more to get your home show-ready. We can even advance renovation costs to maximize your home's value. Whatever way you want to sell, you're sold with OfferPad. Sell your way today at OfferPad.com. Terms and conditions apply. Real estate brokerage services provided by OfferPad Brokerage LLC. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey, red-hot housing market, that's what you're told, right? And there's no doubt it has been, but you got to hook up with the absolute best. And I'm going to hook you up with the best. Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232, 317-755-4232. That's online, markdietel.com, markdietel.com. No matter what you are looking for, Mark is the best to help, to guide, to maintain, and then get you the best, absolute best out of your deal. And he's got promises. Multiple offers in 3 days, or he is going to sell it for free. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody to get you the best deal. So don't settle. Go with the best. It's Mark Dietel of Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. 317-755-4232. Online, markdietel.com. That's markdietel.com today.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer, Patriot Heating and Air. The owner is Army veteran Rob Moran, who says he loves working with his Southside neighbors.
They're down to earth. They're just a good group of honest, hardworking people who just want someone to be honest and straightforward with them. And trust, as I've said many times, trust is everything.
Get to know Rob at Patriot Heating and Air, 317-889-4360. Patriot Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Last year, our average client saved almost $350 a month with an easy rate reduction refinance. What would you do with an extra $300 to $400 a month? When mortgage interest rates are in the twos, you have options. Let's see how much money we can save you. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, it's JMV. Listen Thursday 3 until 6. I'll be at IMS with Future Star Racing. They help race car drivers advance to the next level by supporting talent that lacks resources. Courtesy of Wings and Wheels Foundation.
The Ride with JMV.
Awesome! Totally awesome! All right, Hamilton.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Extra Austin Gale podcast, 1075thefan.com. JMV, let me get some of those Dead & Company tickets, please. Made my wife's day. That's on the Subway party deck, by the way. Coming up for Dead & Company, what is that? John Mayer and Dead & Company. And I heard only good things about those of you that won Fish party deck passes because you had not one, not two, but 3 Fish shows Friday through Sunday over the weekend, too. And I got nothing but love from the folks that attended that. Shout out to you. That was a good time. Larry Brown writes this inside the lounge via YouTube Live. I still think Eason can handle a game or two until Wentz comes back. And I think, to me, that's what they do if it's only a game or two, Larry Brown, until Wentz returns. If it's longer than that, then I think it's going to be an established, more established, or, as I say, and I realize it always shouldn't have to be this way, but a relatable quarterback, meaning having a past with Frank Reich or a staff member. You know where I'm going with that. Jeremiah Wheatley chimes in. I did like the interview with Austin Gale and his breakdown of the Cowboys. Some of you didn't because he was not having high hopes on the Colts given the current situation with Carson Wentz. JMV, longtime listener, I remember my dad laughing to your show, picking me up for football practice when I was a young kid. Anyway, I'd love to be a part of the fantasy league. It is, Brandon, thank you very much. It's going to happen again. We love giving away bar restocks as prizes. Everybody loves that. You guys love a good bar restock. I think I do too. We all love a good bar restock. JMV couldn't help to think about Mike Wells when I saw this. I get the sense that he thinks Eason sucks and that Ellinger should be running with the first team offense. Sounds like Ellinger only flashed when he played against the second and the third strings. Yeah, I saw that. I said Eason played much better today and again, you're going to get a variety of takes on this. We'll get another one coming up at the top of the hour from Stephen Holder, the Athletic, who was out there today, too. As Greg said, and I thought accurately so, as this weekend moved, as this week moves forward, the end of the week and their matchups with Carolina, and then the Sunday date, that is going to tell much more story, meaning we're going to have a great deal of incredible content next week. Damon Dobbs recovering from that Lime scooter fall here downtown recently, my man. And I'm not poking fun either. There's no way in hell I'd ever get on one of those. None. And I did some crap back in the day that you guys would not believe. Stuff that would get me pinched immediately. Hot sauce would pour all over me. Stuff that only Bandit Darville would have done back in the day. There's no way I'm getting on one of those Lime scooters. None. Zero.
This is from Damon, the way they killed off James or Henry Blake is better than Chuck from Happy Days. He was just gone. Seriously, though, James from Happy Days, John Amos, and I've actually tried to hook up with him to get a conversation before. He goes down in history as one of my all-time favorite characters. He was great. I mean, his one-liners were just fantastic. Thank you very much, though. I appreciate it. Hey, JMV, the Val Kilmer doc is really good, too, on Amazon Prime. I've seen that. I haven't seen it, but I saw where it was on there. And I do have to check that out at some point. What's SZN mean?
Season.
Wentz season?
Yeah. It was made popular by Johnny Manziel in the Heisman year.
Oh. SZN. Wentz SZN says Eason was really good today. That's how it was described. Again, the tail of the tape for the most part is going to come after this weekend, but we're going to get a really good look-see at the end of the week. I know. Yeah, Bobby reappeared in the shower. Yeah, Pam was smoke, baby. Smoke. Hey, JMV, regarding the Pacers, too, I saw Chris Duarte had a really nice opener in Summer League action yesterday. We only saw bits and pieces, but, yeah, I mean, he looks like a guy. That's what you're looking for. And, again, it's not much to have a good day in the Summer League, not much of a gauge, but it's a hell of a lot better than having a bad one. You know what I mean? I mean, if you have a bad one, you have a lot of explaining to do. If you have a good one, you're supposed to have a good one. But, man, if it is bad, good luck to you. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I saw that too. Aaron Rodgers likely to sit the preseason. That's unsurprising. And our friend John McClain of the Houston Chronicle said that Deshaun Watson will never take another snap in Houston. I'll tell you what, we'll take a break and come back. I want to get with you on the other side, and I want to think about this for a moment. Should this team, the way that it is built right now, be able to withstand a week or two without Wentz? Because, again, as I've brought up before, I mean, part of the reclamation of Carson Wentz was going to be because of the personnel surrounding him. So isn't that essentially the same, close to the same as what you're looking at with the possibilities to stand in for him if he misses week 1 and week 2? I mean, longer term, I get you. But in the short term, should you not be able to count on that? I mean, because we oftentimes hear all the conversation about how the team is put together and, you know, the depth of the team and the positions they have solidified. Should you not be able to withstand it? Get back to that with you on the other side. I also have this for you. IMS this weekend is all about racing. I'm going to be out there coming up on Thursday. I'll explain why coming up a little bit later on. But on Saturday, you have IndyCar. You have the Xfinity Series on the road course. And I've got a couple of tickets for you right now for Saturday out at IMS. So let's give it up. We'll do it for number 9, 239-1070 right now. If you want to go out Saturday and attend those races at IMS, number 9's got a pair of tickets, 239-1070. After that, we'll load you up with my question, more Colts conversation, NFL stuff, and more next.
Summer is here, so kids, tell your parents about the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The our original gold-rimmed, homemade vanilla, the country's gold standard of ice cream flavors since 1969. Its hand-cranked taste takes you back to simpler times. That's why we put the word home right on the carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Needler's Fresh Market and Walgreens.
Hey, John for LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. Talked to Lance this morning. Everything is going fantastically, and you feel a lot better knowing that Lance and his local team, the best plumbing in Central Indiana, has your back. 317-284-9526. Hey, listen, I found this up firsthand back in February. It was -5. Remember the coldest Sunday morning of the year back in February? And I get up to get ready to go play a little bit of hoop, and I had a little, shall I say, maintenance to take care of. And all of a sudden there's a knock at the door from my wife, and she says, hey, don't do what you're thinking about and getting ready to do right now because we don't have any water. What do? I call 317-284-9526. Lance and his team, they're out there. I have water again by 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning, coldest day of the year. Those are the folks you can count on. They're the best in plumbing. It's LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526, online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to take advantage of a cash-out refinance from Golden Oak Lending. Your home is worth more than you think. Golden Oak Lending can help you tap into your growing home equity and pay off debts. Our average cash-out customer saves $904 a month. Woo-hoo! And remember, at Golden Oak, we speak mortgage. So if terms like cash-out refinance and no-cost appraisal make your heart race and palms sweat, don't worry. Our local lending experts love translating for our customers. But just like the warm weather, home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit us at goldenoaklending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
So then I dropped some garlic and croutons on there, and the rest is salad history. I made the best salad ever, people, and now I'm making the best app. The Caesar Sportsbook app got live in-game betting, parlays, and Caesar rewards. Caesar salad ain't got nothing on my app. Nothing!
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. Your app is ready, Emperor.
Dave Matthews Band. Summer Tour 2021.
Out here we go.
This Friday and Saturday night, Ruoff Music Center. Reserve seat tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Part of the Coors Light Concert Series.
Calling all auto techs, detailers, painters, body shop, lot attendants, other auto specialists, and just awesome people everywhere. Carvana, the company that invented the new way to buy a car, is having a hiring event at their inspection center in Indianapolis. Grow on the go with one of the fastest growing companies in America. They have open roles for all levels of experience, even no experience. Openings include automotive techs, auto body and paint professionals, detailers, and inventory associates, with competitive pay, on-the-job training, and company-paid certifications that give everyone a path to success. Get a great job on day one with the opportunity for a Carvana career. You'll also get health insurance. Carvana pays 100% of the premium for its employees, an extra pay, and 4-day work weeks for second shift. Grow your career with stability. Come to Carvana's hiring event. You know, the one that's at their inspection center in Indianapolis, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. August 25th through 26th. Located at 6508 West FW Marks Drive. Sign up at CarvanaJobsIndy.com. Carvana is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, JMV here for Farm Credit Union. Back to school time is here, and Farm Credit Union has this, the Farm Credit Union Student Checking Account. The reason why I bring this up is because my kid brought this up, Blake, to me last week said, hey, that Forum Credit Union student checking account you're talking about, I'd like to open one up. And I said, thumbs up, let's do it, because saving, spending, sharing, taking place all year long. And I'm going to let Blake get into this, and you should do the same with your kids as well. It's great because it gives you mobile access, account alerts, and easy ways to pay, whether your student is studying at home, across the country, or even abroad, or you got to take them like me from Bargersville to the south side of Indianapolis. It all works great for you with the Forum Credit Union student checking account. Get one going right now. That's Kevin and the gang at a branch location, or for more info online, that's forumcu.com today.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Owner Danny Reinhardt says putting his kids in charge of more of the day-to-day operations of the business was the plan all along.
It makes me really proud that I know that I can turn it over to my family and they can take care of things, and I've got all the confidence in the world in them, and that's the legacy I'm proud to leave.
A great family-owned business, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, 317-745-4526. Reinhardt, your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. It's the Big O Tires anniversary sale now through September 6th. Save up to $150 off a set of Big O brand tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
The Colts open the preseason against the Carolina Panthers. Coverage Sunday morning at 10 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Rakestraw, a little bit earlier, has got the call on TV with Rick Venturi of the Colts in Carolina on Sunday. He did mention that Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, will join them in the booth at some point in the second half, so watch out for that. And Austin Gale, Pro Football Focus Director of Content, a little bit earlier. We're going to start diving a little bit more deeply into, I know a lot of you out there are going to be digging on not only your own fantasy football league, but maybe being a part of ours. And Austin Gale every Tuesday is going to be with us. Podcast with both 1075thefan.com. Stephen Holder set to join us coming up at the top of the hour. Michael Gigi, who, by the way, I did a podcast with Michael Gigi and Chad Jackson last night, and I retweeted it if you want to find it. I mean, it is something where I get a little bit loose. Like here, and what I mean is loose, like I get a little bit loose on the language there. Like here, sometimes I do, but only to a certain point, and then we got to kind of yank on the reins a little bit and pull it back, right? But Michael and Chad asked me a variety of questions, all of which you would love to hear answers to, I guarantee you that. And I went ahead and gave them the full story, all the way back to even the NFL Network days, the full Schefter story they got. NFL Network days with me doing a show at the other place in the Bean Lot down before, I think, the start. Remember they used to have like 3 or 4 high school football games to start the season at Lucas Oil Stadium? I forget what it was called back then, but I was in the Bean Lot doing it. And really, it all kind of started there. So all the way back to Schefter being at the NFL Network. To the end result, which was me being blackballed and then him cussing me out to Hagen when Hagen was driving him back to Fox 59 4 or so years ago. So you got that going for you and a lot of other stuff. It was really fun. So I retweeted it if you guys want to find it. I think it's on YouTube. So thanks, Gigi. Gigi writes this. Bedwell said he can remember almost your entire all-star team. How did he? Bedwell was good back in the day. Yeah, McLeod at first, Hayes at second, Pittman shortstop. I think Jackson was in right. I was behind the plate. Hell to the yes. It was good times. Then we got to go over and play Terre Haute. Ernie Thompson was on Terre Haute's team, and he had a sweet bunt triple. That was really fun trying to throw him out. I mean, you think you see some athletes, right? And then you see a dude like Ernie Thompson. Remember Ernie Thompson, IU, played in the NFL? Younger brother of Anthony Thompson. Ernie Thompson and Babe Ruth was an absolute terror. Well, man, what are you doing laying down a bunt here? Go yard and just clear the bases. I don't want to have to go get this thing and be embarrassed by the fact you're already standing on second. That dude was athletic as hell. All right, quick break, and we'll return. Stephen Holder, the day at Colts camp up in Westfield, and the expectation coming up with Carolina in town. Stephen Holder, top of the hour next.
Summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to let Golden Oak Lending help you tap into your growing home equity. But home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
John for PAI, WeGrowHairAndy.com. If you feel in the reflection in the mirror that you're losing your hair, you want to do something about it. We love options in the real hair growth game. And you got it. 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairAndy.com. Let Darren Andrews explain it to you. And really, all you got to do right now is look at me via YouTube Live. My lettuce is absolutely out of control. I told you yesterday, my garden is overgrown, and I love it. That's exactly what they told me was going to happen. You know what I mean? It's your real growing hair again. I'm just giving you options, and it's real options. There's nothing fake about it. But if you would like to see hair regrowth on top of your dome, they'll get it done for you. It's PAI, 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairAndy.com today.
Siri, read me that text.
Sorry, I can't complete your request.
You want me to read that?
No, I got it.
Construction zone.
I see it.
Watch it.
Oh.
Oh my God. You're gonna hit him!
Oh, fuck!
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Ward Daniels, business manager of Labor's Local 120. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, open your eyes, pay attention.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Hey, John here for Big Red Liquors, 59 Indiana locations. Your chance to win one of 6 solo stoves in the month of August that they are giving away. It is free to sign up, but you got to be 21. You're asking, hey, man, what's a solo stove? It is the state of the art, something you would love campfire-wise, something you would love in your backyard, like a fire pit. These world's greatest smokeless stove and or fire pit, if you will. It's called a solo stove, and one can be yours. One of 6. Sign up today. One of the 59 Indiana locations of Big Red Liquors. I mean, face it, you're going to be there anyway, right? I mean, you got to get a pick-me-up, a filler-up midweek, and for the weekend as well with whatever you're doing. So when you stop in one of these 59 Big Red Liquors locations, be sure you sign up for the opportunity to win one of 6 solo stoves today. For more info online, BigRedLiquors.com.
PNC Bank believes that if your smartwatch can help you avoid overdoing it during a workout, then your bank should be able to help you avoid an overdraft fee. Introducing Low Cash Mode, available with Virtual Wallet, the financial watch-out that gives you advance warning, multiple options, and at least 24 hours of extra time to help avoid an overdraft fee. Because we believe how you handle overdrafts should be in your control, not just your bank's. And now through September 28th, earn up to $300 when you open and use a select new Virtual Wallet product. Simply establish a qualifying direct deposit. To learn more, visit a branch or pnc.com/checking offer. Virtual wallet with low cash mode from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference. Low Cash Mode is a service mark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. Virtual Wallet is a registered trademark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
It's no secret that the housing market is red hot. Get a leg up on the competition and get pre-approved now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
NMLS number 1326241.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB WIBC HD3 W228CX Indianapolis.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Dave Matthews Band tickets before the end of the show. Dead & Company for the Subway Party Deck. Also coming up. Who won the IMS tickets today? Do you got a name over there for me?
Larry Cowan.
Larry. Shout out to Larry Cowan. Dave Matthews Band's coming up on Friday, by the way. Thank you, Live Nation. Kyle and Jimmy and the gang for that. Kind of busy weekend when you think about it. You got Dave Matthews Band twice. You got Yacht Rock Review coming up at the TCU Amphitheater going down this weekend. And then on Sunday, you got preseason game number 1 for the Colts. That is after a couple of organized get-togethers between the two NFL franchises. And joining us now to talk about that and more via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, Stephen Holder of The Athletic. All right, where we are right now, as far as Eason and Ellinger, in your opinion, would be concerned, if this were a race, where would each be at this point of the race?
Well, in keeping with the spirit of the Olympics, I guess.
Yeah.
They're on the first turn. If this is, so I was a quarter miler in high school. Okay, so I'll use that. So they're on the first turn, and this is a NASCAR town, right? So,
right.
Excuse me, an IndyCar town. Excuse me. So
yeah, better not. I think people like NASCAR here, but yeah, in IndyCar definitely.
That's what I meant. Yeah, I'm not that much of an idiot. But anyway, so they're on the first turn, and they're feeling it out, and I think they're afraid to really hit the gas, because they're worried about running out of wind at the end of the race and how much is too much and am I ready? And, I think there's a little bit of that. But you're starting to see these guys take some chances and kind of get out of their comfort zone a little bit. I think they got to do that because how the hell else are we going to know if they can play? So it can be a check down party all day, but you ain't winning a whole lot of football games like that. I don't know if that was exactly your question, but I just think I think you're probably also asking, how close are we to figuring out, where this thing is and where this is going to end. And, to be completely honest with you, I think here's what we know. We know that these two quarterbacks aren't ready for the NFL right now. And that is not a slight to these guys. It's just reality, man. They're two kids who ain't ready. Two kids who haven't played any football, not at this level. So I think that's kind of what you get, man. And if they get a half decent outcome out of this, they should throw a party, honestly.
So Stephen Holder, The Athletic, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. To me, this is more about the Wentz return as to how they're going to deal with the start of this season. Now, I'm assuming that if both of these guys are awful and they're dreadful, I mean, what are you going to do? And if Wentz isn't ready in the first week or the second week or whatever, they're going to have to go out and just simply find somebody else. But to me, if it's on the short term, it seems like that they are willing, especially with Eason, to live with a lot of the shortcomings again in the short term. Is that accurate, you think?
I'm starting to think that is because there's two things. Number one, I don't think there's any doubt they feel optimistic about Carson Wentz. Now, it's too early to be jumping to conclusions on that, even for the Colts who have more information than I do. But, excuse me, but I definitely think, or it definitely seems as though just reading the tea leaves, talking to people, observing, it definitely seems like they have reason to think that Carson Wentz will be back sooner than later. Okay, now that doesn't mean next week. That means, some time on the shorter end of the spectrum that they gave us, that timeline they gave us. And if that's the case, then maybe this is a 1 or 2 game thing at most, right? And I think under that scenario, maybe you do just roll the dice, and you just hope your defense can hold and your running game can make up the difference, and you just hold on for dear life. It's a roller coaster, and you just try to survive it. If they felt less optimistic, if we're talking about the potential, okay, because we don't know, but the potential for Wentz being gone on the longer end of that spectrum, then I think absolutely, positively, no doubt you have to make a move, because you can't go 2 months with one of these guys and realistically expect to survive it. I mean, they're just, like I said, they're just not ready because they aren't supposed to.
You can't go 3 games, right? I mean, if it's going to be like I first thought, Steven, 2 weeks, maybe it's 1, but you can't get into week number 3 and be going in the wrong direction when it comes to the quarterback if Wentz isn't ready. I know everybody feels good about the lack of a boot and all that today, but it doesn't seem like that you really have a lot of time to play with if you're the Colts here.
I wouldn't think so. Now, I think if you look at what's out there, right, so quarterbacks who are available right now who are not on someone's roster, there's basically nothing to pick from, right? So it would have to be a trade right now. I think they are going to wait this out a little bit. They feel like they have a little bit of time. They do feel like they have a little bit of time. That's where they probably disagree with you. And I'm not saying they're right and you're wrong. I'm saying that's just where they are. I think they still want to see a little more. And I will say this for these 2 kids. They've gotten better, okay? I don't think they can get where they need to be, because I don't think they have that much time. I mean, it's only a month, right? I don't think they can improve that much in a month where they're going to be viable starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Let's go get it, right? I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think I have seen some progress in both guys. And I think we've talked a lot about Ellinger, but Jacob Eason has made some strides too. And I think that's a positive thing. I want to see the trajectory continue. We also got to see it continue against tougher competition. And then by that, I mean not your own defense, who you have seen every day, for the last 2 weeks. You got to do that against Carolina, who's going to run stuff you're not expecting. And what will be more telling than the game will be the practices, because the Panthers aren't going to show a whole lot of stuff in the game because it's on tape. In practice, that tape doesn't get shared around the league, so they'll be much more willing to throw out blitzes and coverages that they're not going to show in the game on Sunday. So that, to me, I think is going to tell me a whole lot about these 2 quarterbacks.
And Stephen Holder, The Athletic, and the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, Colts and Panthers, and organized get-togethers, and then a preseason game coming up on Sunday. So you saw Wentz out there today with no boots on the foot. What does that tell you? And if you were guessing right now, throwing that proverbial dart at a dartboard, where and when do you think he returns?
Well, putting on my doctor hat, because, I went to medical school, as you know.
Yes.
I think listen, I just think, and I think Frank Reich is included in this, I just think from a human perspective, seeing a guy 8 days out of foot surgery, being, on his feet out there, moving around, walking around without a limp for 2 hours, how can you not say that's a positive, right? I mean, now as to what it actually means, that is harder to that's harder to kind of determine. But I don't think there's any doubt that it's certainly not a negative. I mean, I didn't see this guy. If you would have told me, if I wouldn't have known, and you'd have told me today that Carson Wentz had foot surgery a week ago, I would have laughed at you. And same for Quentin Nelson. Today was day 7 for him, 1 week out of surgery, and he was out there, not a limp that I could see, and not a boot, not nothing. So. Again, I don't want to overstate what that means, but Frank Reich was very happy to say yes. It's very encouraging. So, and he's got more information than we do. So
yeah, he's encouraged about everything, though. So yeah,
he is. He's Mr. Optimism. I called him on it the other day in a press conference and said, "You said, yeah, you're encouraged." I said, "Is that just because you're always encouraged, or?" And he said, all right, fair. So he admits it. But I do think, as I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking some hope out of seeing those guys. And there's been some private conversations that have kind of suggested that they feel really good about Wentz too now. So I'm not just basing it on Coach Wright's happy-go-lucky, nothing to see here approach. I think that they feel some optimism. They're not going to make promises, okay? They're not going to make promises. Been there, done that, and got the T-shirt, and it wasn't worth it. So they're not going to do that, but I do think they're optimistic.
All right. Now, DeForest Buckner, his situation is question mark.
I'm not concerned. I think it's still precautionary. Look, he is just too damn important to their hopes. This guy, I thought was really a defensive player of the year candidate last year. I don't know if many people around the league would agree with that, but I saw all of his games, and I just think I have a good perspective on it. I mean, the guy is that important to this team. And honestly, he's in mid-season form, or certainly was before this little injury. I don't think there's any reason to rush this guy back. And, he honestly is taking some snaps off during practices when, to kind of give other guys opportunities in the rotation as well. So I think they know. I think they know he can play. I don't think they're worried about it. It's kind of like Darius a little bit, Darius Leonard. I mean, he wasn't in mid-season form today. His first day back, and I can tell he's missed some time, and he took some snaps off as you would expect. But are they worried about that? Nah, they're not, and I don't think they should be. So they got some pros over there on that defensive side, and they're not too worried about it.
This doesn't matter to me very much because who cares now? But was the Darius Leonard getting paid and then coming back akin to Jonathan Taylor not being benched but really was benched in a game early in the season a year ago? I mean, these are things we see, but they're not saying, or they didn't say, or they didn't tell us.
Yeah. Well, look, they
didn't tell us, what was going on. Because, I mean, Jonathan Taylor was benched in that game. He was benched, and they said he wasn't, but he was.
Right. It's a fair question. Look, there are those are definite things that happen, right? I mean, there's what they say and there's what they do, right? I mean, those are often two different things. So in this case, I would say privately they say no, that this was not a holdout or anything like that. I actually think the truth is perhaps somewhere in the middle. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying he was holding out. I'm saying I think both sides, and this is just my perception, right? You're asking me a question. I'm telling you what I think. I'm not telling you what someone told me. So let me be clear about that. To me, it looks like, all right, first of all, he very much had an off-season surgery. So that's the first thing, right? This is not some sort of manufactured thing. Like, he legitimately had an off-season surgery. The guy was walking around the off-season with a boot on. All the fans sent it to me on Instagram. I saw the pictures, and that was documented. We know that, right? So it has a basis in absolute fact, no question about it. I think if a guy's gimpy and he's working on a contract, and it's a matter of whether you rush him back or maybe take his time before coming back, I think both sides are probably okay, especially a veteran guy like this. I don't think either side really will force the issue. And so if you're the Colts and he says, I need more time, you're going to say, hey, we're good, because he's Darius Leonard, and the guy has played before without practicing and been fine. He does it. He's done it several times in the last few years. With a month before the season, there's no way you're forcing that issue. And they don't want to rush him out there anyway, right? So, I don't think there was a whole lot of smoke. I think it's a fair question. And it's obviously convenient that he's back today. But at the same time, the contract was agreed to on Saturday. It's Tuesday. There's been several days, and we knew he was close. We've known he was close, for a little bit here. So he was going to be back very soon, I think, one way or the other. I don't know, man. We'll maybe never know, but I don't think there was anything acrimonious. He's been at practice every day. He's been right in the thick of things. taking all the mental reps. So it's not like the guy was out of sight, out of mind either. Okay, so I want people to understand that. I saw Darius Leonard every stinking day. He was right there in the huddle with his teammates, just not actually participating. So, I think that tells me something. That's not a guy who's pissed off. That's just a guy who's like, maybe he's like, all right, I'm taking this slow. We're working on our deal. We're almost there, and I'll be back soon. I don't know. I don't take too much out of it.
What does he have to do to live up to the contract?
So I feel like I think he just has to continue doing what he's done, honestly. I don't know that he has to do more. I think be the player that he's been. That's how he lives up to it. And I asked Frank Reich something very interesting, or the answer I think was very interesting. I asked him the other day, I said, let's take the money out of it. What is Darius's value to your team? And he said, people talk, he talks about juice all the time, right? Frank does. And one of the things he said was, but this guy, he says, a lot of our guys got juice, but they don't have it like this guy. And what he means by that is just his presence. And I'm going to tell you something, all right? He was back today, Darius Leonard, and there was a vibe on that defense that I had not seen throughout training camp, because it is true. He brings a level of investment and excitement, and just he gets those guys' pulses racing. I had a staff member who's new to the Colts who was on the sideline watching with me and said, wait, so he's always like this? And I said, yeah, he's always like this, because he's the loudest guy out there. He's the most hyped guy out there. And I know, he's not here to be a freaking mascot. I get that, right? But what he does is he does that, and then he goes and makes a huge play. And if you don't think that fuels the guys around him, I'm here to tell you it absolutely does. These guys play off of Darius Leonard, and that includes DeForest Buckner, as good of a damn player as he is. He just kind of goes and does his job. He doesn't, I don't think, bring that level of juice that Darius Leonard does. He's in a class of his own. And, again, he's not here to be a cheerleader, but I think he's a guy who does it both in his demeanor and in his play, and that is a rare combination.
So Stephen Holder of The Athletic, he joins us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I was looking over the season a year ago of Jonathan Taylor. He became obviously the guy in the latter portions of the season, and I believe that his high water mark for rushing attempts was 30. Let's just say, for example, there's no Carson Wentz in the first 2 weeks of the season. Where will be his workload as far as rushing attempts is concerned here? I mean, even with the depth they have and everybody feels good about it, but he is still going to be the guy. Where would you slot him for rushing attempts and or carries in those first 2 weeks if Wentz is unavailable?
Well, look, this is one of those great mysteries, because I think, well, first of all, is Quentin Nelson playing and is Eric Fisher playing? Those are pertinent questions too, right? But I actually.
Well, I mean, then you're really screwed, because you won't be able to do really anything right there.
I think then the question becomes, do they score?
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, let's just assume. Let's say it's best case scenario.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to be best case scenario, but let's just for kicks, let's just say that it is. I still think they're going to measure his touches, and that's because that's what the Colts do. I mean, that's a Frank Reich thing. I mean, we had this conversation the other day, he and I, and he was talking about the wide receivers, but I think he might as well be talking about all positions. And he said, I really believe in spreading the ball around and getting everybody involved. And I think his history suggests that. There's no question about that. So Marlon Mack, I want to see what Marlon Mack can do against Carolina. I want to see him. I don't know if they'll go live in practice necessarily, but they will in the game. And I kind of want to see Marlon in some live action, because I think the workload that Marlon Mack can take and how he handles it and performs, I think that really determines what you do with Jonathan Taylor. Because if you take the ball out of Jonathan Taylor's hands and then it leads to a big drop-off with Marlon, well, that's a different set of circumstances, right? And that's a different kind of decision. And as good as he looks, I think he looks great. As good as he looks, I think with a running back, especially in practice when they're not getting tackled you still need to see it. I think it's going to be okay, but I just, you need to see it. And the Colts would say the same thing, privately. They would say the same thing. There's no question about it. A guy coming off, a real catastrophic injury like that, you got to see it. So we'll see. I think Marlon Mack's going to have a lot to say about this. And the other thing is honestly just, keeping Taylor fresh. I mean, it's a 17-game season. This kid, he had a lot more touches last season than they ever anticipated, too. Remember that, because they thought that Marlon Mack would be in the lineup. They thought this would be more of a shared situation. He gets hurt, so the calculus changed. So I think being smart is probably the way they'll go with Taylor. So I don't see a whole lot of 30-touch games for him. Although it could be a very unique.
That was the Jacksonville game they had to have there at the end, and they were just basically leaning on him. I think until that point, and you saw his workload increase as the season went along because simply he just got better. I mean, he was just getting better and more important in the offense. But I think 26 might have been the workload that he had up until that 30 point, and you just kind of wonder how they're going to lean that early in the season where they lean that much on him. Especially if Carson Wentz is unavailable.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on how these games go, certainly, and we'll have to see. I mean, all I can tell you is that Frank Reich is going to have to call, the game of his life on September 12th. There's no question about it. He is going to have to call the game of his life because I think he's the key to this. And this is something that I've tried to emphasize throughout this process is – if they pull this off, it's going to be because of Frank Reich. I mean, we can cry about analytics and play calling. I don't care. Whatever. I'm just telling you now. I'm not saying if they don't pull it off, it's his fault. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if they're able to pull this off somehow, some way, and make this situation work, put Frank Reich in the Hall of Fame. Okay, I'm just telling you because it's going to be some magic. All right, that's all I can tell you because this is a tough set of circumstances, man.
Well, a part of this magic act is going to be trying to make anything the proverbial chicken salad out of the chicken blank at left tackle here. Will Holden has been working with that first team now. Has Sam Tevy been as big a disaster as has been described there?
Yeah, it's bad. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm going to tell you something. Will Holden, I don't think he has performed a lot better. I mean, he's back getting a lot of those first-team reps, particularly today, and he was struggling too. So it's bad. It's at the point where I'm sitting here trying to ask myself, all right, is Kwity Paye just that damn good, or are these guys just that bad? And I don't know. I wish I had a clearer answer. Kwity Paye is pretty good, I think. But I'd like to see him against some offensive tackles who I trust.
Well, I mean, without a boot today, everybody was made to feel good about the short term of Wentz, even though he still may – who knows what happens. But, man, Eric Fisher is still going to be, a month into the season before you see him. And I know that we kind of cover that up now because we're talking so much about the quarterback situation – but that can help bury you as well, and it does not appear, once again, they're ready for it. Unless, Julian Davenport turns into, I don't know.
You got to put a cape on. That's what he's got to do, right?
That doesn't look good, and we haven't spent a lot of time on it, honestly.
No, I don't love any of their options, okay? I'm just going to – that's it. That's where we're at. I don't love any of their options, and I don't think they feel like they can't possibly be watching the same practices I watch and feel like they have a good option because I don't see one. I'll tell you, I just don't see one. Davenport's back now too from the COVID list, and it hadn't gotten any better out there at left tackle. So it is as bad as you think. I think it was one thing when Quentin Nelson was out there, because I think that at least helps you stop the bleeding. He can help at times. Quentin's such a smart player that a lot of times he sees things before they happen. So, if that tackle gets in trouble and Quentin's available, he'll pop out there and sort of give that guy a punch to the chest, right, and keep him at bay. He has saved a lot of plays doing stuff like that over the years. But without Quentin, you lose that, and the drop-off after Quentin is massive. Okay, so maybe they get Kelly back and Pinter can move to left guard. I would like to see what Pinter can give them there. They feel like Pinter is probably a better center, but I think they need him. I mean, Pinter's a good player. I like Pinter. I think he's going to have to step up. I mean, this is me talking. I don't know what their plans are, but if it's me, I want to stick that kid in there. He's the most talented guy, I think. Stick him in there and see what he can give him at left guard, because I think that compounds the problem at left tackle when you've got that huge drop-off at left guard. So, man, that offensive line, man, look, center, left guard, left tackle right now are backups. And, I mean, that I don't care what team you are, that ain't going to work.
Yeah, we spent so much time talking about, obviously the quarterback situation, and then, I asked you about the Darius Leonard thing, which that whole thing really doesn't matter to me because he's signed now and whatever.
Yeah.
But, when you hear about that and you compare it to, how they treated early in the season Jonathan Taylor in the game where they benched him and said they didn't, it kind of makes you wonder. But that left tackle situation is going to be one that appears deeply rooted and really tough to wiggle free from in that first month of the season.
I agree. Now, we'll see where Fisher is. I mean, supposedly he's moving around pretty good, but I think even if you accept the 8 month, roughly 8 month prediction, for the Achilles, which is what the Colts have told us, they think is possible, that puts you into like week 4, right, as you said. So
right.
I don't think anybody around here is banking on Eric Fisher being ready. Now Quentin Nelson, we'll see, right? We will see. Is he a tough guy? Absolutely. I don't know that he's ever missed a game. I don't know if he missed a game at Notre Dame for that matter. So the guy's tough. There's no question. And at the same time, though, they're going to have to protect him from themselves. So we'll see.
Better put a couple of these dudes in a glass case coming up at the end of this week, too, by the way.
Let me tell you, man. They can't afford any more, man. They can't afford any more injuries, no question.
That would
especially on the offensive side.
Yeah, that would end it. The Athletic Stephen Holder on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Keep us updated, and we'll see you on Sunday. Thanks, Stephen.
All right, my friend. See you.
Stephen Holder, the Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Yeah, Jamie says once Kelly is back, put Pinter at guard and push Q to tackle. Hey, don't get me aroused on a Tuesday here, Jamie. Don't do it. That's my sports arousal. Don't do it. Then it would justify my entire point, my 6 month plus long point. Don't do it, Jamie. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch, and we just haven't spent a great deal of time on it because, the quarterback stuff and the injuries, and I think everybody's expectation is that Nelson is just grunt and come back and be ahead of schedule, or as the Snowman said to Smokey the Bandit, schedule. 25 minutes ahead of schedule. So, the left tackle. I was just kind of curious about Tevy because it had been written and described as a disaster. Was it really a disaster? And it looks like it's been a disaster. I don't know, Kyle. Do you think they may look at the end result of this and may have liked a left tackle on the draft more than they did?
Well, it depends on how good Kwity Paye. If Kwity Paye if he looks like how he's looking for Sam Tevy versus a real left tackle, then you stick with Paye all day if he's that good.
Well, it's going to depend on what Eric Fisher, when he returns and how good he looks.
Yeah,
but let's just say this thing is kind of a mess. Longer rather than shorter this season, that's going to be tough. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, quick break, and we shall return. If you guys want to jump on board, let's do this. I've got your chance to win tickets coming up before the top of the hour. Tracksides tonight, Calvin and Kevin, Beyond the Bricks. Jake Query and Mike Thompson also coming your way. Of course, this is race week here in Indiana. I'm going to tell you, I'm at the track on Thursday. That's going to be a blast. And then I believe on Friday, I'm downtown at the District Tap, which is also going to be a blast. I'll set you up for those, give you a chance to win, give you a chance to comment, and more at 239-1070 coming straight at you next.
Every game has 1,000 storylines. So if you've got an angle, a hunch, or some info you got from that guy in 10 fantasy leagues across the street, Unibet's got that bet. Unibet Sportsbook has all the bets you need for every game. Sign up now to get $500 risk-free. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's John here for Forum Credit Union. I've got a great idea for you. In fact, my kid, Blake T, pointed this out because I talked about the Forum Credit Union student checking account. Because school has started, he goes, hey, Dad, I want one of those. And I said, hey, son, let's do that because it's great for saving, spending, sharing, and also for the student in your household or out of your household. It is great to keep track of things. Mobile access, account alerts, easy ways to pay, whether your student is at home, like Blake T, across the country, or even working abroad. You can stop by a branch location, tell Kevin that I sent you for more information. The Forum Credit Union student checking account online, forumcu.com today.
This year, a new tradition will be born at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. NASCAR and IndyCar take on the road course over Brickyard Weekend. Tensions will run high and paint will fly as drivers like Elio, Logano, Jimmy, Bubba, Newgarden, Elliott, and more battle it out to be crowned rulers of the road. Don't miss the Midsummer Mayhem at the racing capital of the world. It's where history will be made and where racing never stops. August 13th through the 15th. Tickets at ims.com.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Justina. But since she is so focused on growing her career, we hired an actor to read her story.
At Geico, I receive support from those above me. If you want to move up, you really have that relationship and encouragement.
As a full-time employee, she can even get paid training and tuition reimbursement. Yep, there's no stopping her now. She's even taken over book club.
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
Hey, it's JMV. If your hair is thinning and you're beginning to think, where do I begin? I went to We Grow Hair Indy because they are the most trusted name in hair restoration. Hair restoration is all they do, and they've been growing hair back for men and women for over 25 years. Their free virtual or in-person evaluation will give you the answers you need to grow your hair back. Schedule that by calling 888-724-5129 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com. I had the multi-unit hair grafting. It's their trademark procedure, and to keep my non-transplanted hair growing, the new 45-minute regenerative treatment from ExoFlow. No one else in the Midwest has this technology or has the Artist Robotic FUE, all in one place. If you're suffering hair loss and you want your hair back, 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today. Also, check out my VIP page, and again, make the call, 888-724-5129.
Oh, whale! Guys, whale! Wow, whale. Oh, that's a big whale. Okay. Whale, whale, whale. Oh, no, whale!
The tides can turn quick on the water. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered. Get a quote today in as little as 3 minutes at progressive.com.
Well, at least it wasn't a shark, am I right?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late. And that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the first pitch to the last out, BetRivers Sportsbook has all the bases covered. BetRivers has a massive number of baseball betting options on each game, including pre-game player props and live in-game betting every inning. Sign up now and get a free play match of 100% on your first deposit up to $250. Bet with a winner. Bet with BetRivers Sportsbook. Must be 21 or over to play. Playable only in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, JMV, if you've noticed with this hot and humid weather that your system, your cooling unit, is not doing the job that it should, I have got the names for you. John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air. They are the best. 317-353-2141. I love it when they get over to my place to make sure my cooling unit's doing the job that it should. They can do the same for you. Hey, maybe it's as easy as a simple tune-up. Maybe you need something a little bit more. Whatever the case might be, the best prices, the best workmanship you're going to find anywhere is with Love Heating and Air. 317-353-2141. John and Chris Love online for you. Love-HVAC.com today.
Want to explore using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits to heat and cool your home or business? Learn more at AbsoluteComfort.org. That's AbsoluteComfort.org.
The Ride with JMV.
This situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part. We're just the guys to do it.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
This old engine makes it on time.
Somewhere our good friend Brent Holverson's all excited about this. September 15th at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center, the Subway Party Deck is the spot. You've got an exclusive cash bar. It is an awesome view. And everybody told me this past weekend they got to go and celebrate on the Subway Party Deck, Subway Eat Fresh, for a fish show. How great that it was. Dead and Company, September the 15th. Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center, the Subway Party Deck. Subway Eat Fresh, number 9 at 239-1070 will be the winner. You know, I brought up to Jake Query on the show yesterday. As messy as that Nashville race was, that street course was, with all the yellow time compared to green flag racing, and we were kind of wondering and thought that it absolutely was worth the time and the effort, and if it was a bad race, it was a bad race. But you had so many people from around here go down, make it a weekend in Nashville. I mean, for the core fan base of IndyCar, it is easily turned into a great weekend of racing, celebration, partying in Nashville, whatever. But here's where it was big. The Music City GP averaged 1.2 million viewers for its early Sunday evening broadcast on NBC. That is the most watched cable race for the series in 23 years. That according to NBC PR. The most watched cable race for the series in 23 years. That is a big deal. A big deal. So congratulations. That makes it all worthwhile. And I'm telling you, you had a lot of people that I knew that went down just to make it a weekend. And when they went down to make it a weekend, the weekend was already done. You already had your fun. You go to the race, and the race wasn't, the greatest race ever. It was kind of a mess. But, I mean, you had a signature moment for Marcus Ericsson getting airborne and still winning the race. And then the numbers on TV, well done. So Steve in San Antonio, Texas sends me this, reaching back to an Indy Star article on the 3rd of August, 2018, with Colts general manager Chris Ballard quoted as saying, "I screwed it up with the 2017 offensive line." Steve writes this, 4 years later, and he still hasn't learned his lesson. The left tackle situation has been a disaster since last year. No plan for life after Costanzo. Keeping LaRaven Clark on the roster, Tevy Davenport signings. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, and we're not thinking a lot about it right now, but this will be a tough one. Because when I asked the question about Jonathan Taylor and the rushing, the carries for Jonathan Taylor, if Wentz is unavailable in week 1, week 2, whatever, His carries during games increased in the latter portions of the season because his productivity increased. How much will he see the ball in those first 2 weeks if indeed Wentz is unavailable? And then you think about, the offensive line situation. I mean, everybody's expecting Nelson to be back, but you still don't know. But you know that the left tackle position looks like a mess. Yeah, that's interesting, Steve, for real. Dead and Company tickets went to for the Subway Party Deck, Kyle.
Jacob Kelly.
Jacob Kelly, congratulations. Dead and Company for the Subway Party Deck. Subway Eat Fresh. Man, I just saw this from our good guy, Brent Halverson, Heaven Hill Distillery. Looks like we got a lot. Can't wait. Shout out to Nally and Miller, the Ryans, Joe's Grill, Westfield, Fishers, Castleton. Got a free spirit. I cannot wait to get that going again. I miss a Joe's Grill. Now, we opened up the one in Westfield about a year ago around today. That might have been in July of a year ago. The Joe's and Fishers we love. You know that. The Joe's in Castleton. Free spirit. Got a lot of Thursdays earmarked for that. For real. Hatfield writes this, so I made the trip again for sure. A ton of entertainment for your money, and you can't beat rolling out of the venue onto Broadway. Even ran into Jake Query for the great conversation. All the way back for the hotel. Agreed. And then you add the fact that it went 1.2 mil and the most viewership in 23 years on cable for that. That's nice. Jeff Nelson says, yeah, the 93.5 signal, when you're on 86th Street North, you got to go with 107.5. At least that's what they tell me. I think the way you split it up, 93.5 is supposed to be to the south. 107.5 is supposed to be the north. And if you struggle with those, download it to your smartphone or device. If you struggle with that or you're pissed off at me because I'm directing you to do that, if you call up here, I'll put your ass on hold. I don't care how you listened. And believe me, it's not like I've been made happy over this either. But just keep that in mind, and I'll help you out. The stream, the app, if the FM signals aren't doing you justice for the good listen. If I have to, I'll open up the damn window and yell as loud as I can. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you. All right, quick one. We'll come back for a final time. Ryan Newman tomorrow? Yep. Ryan Newman tomorrow. I think we got somebody from the Colts tomorrow, too. I just don't know who that is. I'd love to preview it. I'll give you a really sweet, greeny ESPN tease that everybody wants you to do that's lame as hell, by the way. Lame as hell. Consultants want you to do it, but I think it's lame, and I don't. Back with you next.
Summer is here, so kids, tell your parents about the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/liveinthemoment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Shout out to Brent Halverson, Randy Strand, Heaven Hill Distillery. We got another one coming up in the month of August. Of course, I'm talking about the Backyard Bourbon Broadcast. It's where me and my friends bring this show and the party to you and your friends, you and 30 of your friends in your backyard. It's a Backyard Bourbon Broadcast. Heaven Hill Distillery will bring the Larceny Bourbon, the Evan Williams, the Luna Azul Tequila. We've got Ryan Stoltz, New Belgium Brewing, Fruit Smash, Hard Seltzer, Voodoo Ranger, Fat Tire Beer. You got to have hydration, and we learned that long ago. And you got Joe, John, and Dennis from Connecticut, the best water, the best hydration out there. They bring that for you. And we've got food. We've got food from Ford's Garage in Noblesville, courtesy of Richard and the gang up there. It is the best party you've ever been a part of, and we bring it to you. Backyard Bourbon broadcast for the month of August. If you want us in your backyard, 1075thefan.com. Sign up today.
Score a major payday with BetMGM. Hey, it's Big Joe, and now is the best time to sign up for the King of Sportsbooks because they're giving new customers a shot at an easy $100. All you have to do is register using my code BIGJOE100, and you win $100 in free bets when you place a $1 money line wager on the Cubs or the Brewers, and either team hits a home run. Whether you're raising the stakes on summer baseball or wagering on your favorite soccer team, BetMGM is always ready for action. Enjoy innovative parlay selection builders, daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and be sure to use my code BIGJOE100. That's BIGJOE100 to win $100 when you bet $1 on the Cubs or the Brewers and either team hits a home run. Only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. This is a new customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Indiana only, must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Plumbing issues? I have your solutions. JMV here for the best. It's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. I'm talking solutions to all of your plumbing needs, no matter what they are. The easy, like fixing my garbage disposal situation, to when we get into the winter, frozen pipes. If you spring a leak, they got you covered. I'm telling you, large or small emergencies, they've got you covered locally with Lance and his team at LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526. Always go local and go with the best. LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526 online. That's ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Ah, summertime, and the refi is easy. With home values soaring and interest rates at a historic low 2.25%, now is the time to let Golden Oak Lending help you tap into your growing home equity. But home values this high and rates this low won't be around forever. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today and enjoy the feeling of summer all year long.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, I know a lot of you out there are in the market for a new ride, a new set of wheels, and I got the perfect place for you. Here's the reason why. I know Eric Wilson, and he is the best at what he does. The general manager of Indiana's Best, Andy Moore Buick GMC, that's 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers. I know exactly what you're looking for. There's no doubt the great price tag. Boom, you get it from Eric and the gang at Indiana's Best. And the car buying experience in the past at other places has not been top-notch. You get top-notch treatment at Indiana's Best. Andy Moore Buick GMC in Fishers. Ask for Eric Wilson and ask for the deals like 0% financing for 72 months on nearly everything on the lot. And hey, don't sweat the construction. You'll see it right out in front, but you can easily slide by for the best car buying experience of your lifetime at one place. It's Eric Wilson at Andy Moore Buick GMC. Tell him I sent you. 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
When construction companies pay their workers cash under the table, Hoosiers lose out. By not paying their fair share, these companies are stealing over $405 million a year from Hoosiers. Do you know what $405 million a year could do for your community?
8,741 state troopers, 7,937 teachers, 325 miles of resurfaced highways, 112 miles of expanded highways, 783 small business loans, 9,722 new jobs.
That's a whole lot of losses. Visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how you can take a stand.
The NTT IndyCar Series races on the IMS Road Course. Coverage Saturday morning at 11 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Are you kidding? You think I'd join this crummy snobatorium? But this whole place sucks. That's right, it sucks.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, Friday. Dave Matthews Band, the first of two over the weekend at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. Thank you, Live Nation, for the Dave tickets. Number 9 is a winner right now. Call Smashed that post like I do on Saturday night, Kyle. Smashed it. I have seen Dave Matthews Band once. How many times for you?
0 for me.
Never?
I'm not a big Dave Matthews guy.
I went with the great David Benner of the Pacers because the Benners, between them, the brothers Benner, Bill and Dave, have seen Dave Matthews Band approximately 700 times. True story.
I've heard he puts on a good show. What they do.
Yeah, I'm playing, like right now I'm playing Too Much, which is is probably one of their most widely known songs. When I went, he played a lot from the B-side. And I didn't have much of an idea what the hell they were doing. I mean, it sounded good. I want something, I want to be able to sing along, and they have an incredible catalog, but I want a catalog of music that I know and sing along to. So I guess for me, he would have to be playing, the catalog of the night would have to be Too Much or So Much to Say, Crash Into Me, Satellite, Space Between. Because they go to the B-side, and that's tough. At least it's tough on me. It's like when I went to see Van Halen, for example. Like Van Halen, it was great. Matt Taylor and I went. And they were doing stuff from Women and Children First and Diver Down, 1984. I mean, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2. And that stuff was great. And then the moment that David Lee Roth said, hey, we're going to play something from our new album, Tattoo, that's exactly when I had to go pee. Let's listen. See, exactly, Sevens, you're right. Nobody likes a tease. I'm sorry. And I know everything ESPN nationally does, consultants take and try to shove it down our throat, and I think that sucks. Because that's not what you want. You want us. You want what you want to hear, local programming. You can easily go get them. So, yeah, teasing my ass. Exactly. Thank you, Sevens. Who's the winner of the Dave tickets, by the way?
A local favorite here, Pam Brown.
Pam Brown's awesome, by the way. Congratulations, Pam. Austin Gale, Greg Rakestraw, Stephen Holder, podcast1075thefan.com. Trackside, Beyond the Bricks, 7P, 8P, respectively, tonight. Ryan Newman and more for you tomorrow. You guys have been outstanding, especially inside the lounge via YouTube Live. Let's do it again. No Tease Wednesday coming at you tomorrow at 3. Have a great night.
Honey, we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it? We're gonna make it!
I just said
we're gonna make it!
Fill your tank with Amoco Ultimate with Invigorate and keep on moving. Amoco Ultimate with Invigorate at BP and Amoco stations.
When you sign up for BP Me Rewards, you can get 5 cents